Chapter 754. Self-inflicted _1 Zhang Xianjing watched an Yang, who was surrounded by the crowd, a strong tint of jealousy flashing in her eyes. She just couldn't keep it down. An Yang was too exceptional. She was merely wearing a plain white cheongsam with a light purple coat draped over it, but she still managed to dazzle everyone. Zhang Xianjing had even heard such comments. The Zhang family's own granddaughter is really different. Even though she grew up in the countryside, her temperament is still so good. Can anyone compare to the real family? Exactly. This legitimate Zhang family's Missy is really beautiful. It seems that the weather in Suzhou City is going to change again. Everyone was focused on Ni Cuihua and her daughter Ni Yang, who more noticed the Zhang family's adopted daughters, Zhang Lingling and Zhang Xianjing. The more Zhang Xianjing listened, the uneasy she felt. It was unbearable. On the first day Ni Yang returned, she stole all her limelight. If this continued, how could she ever have a future in the Zhang family? Despicable woman. Despicable woman. After all, she was the only granddaughter of the Zhang family. Xianjing, don't worry. Zhang Lingling took Zhang Xianjing's hand. Mother won't let them steal what belongs to us. No matter if it's Ni Yang or Ni Cuihua, they are not qualified to compete with you. They are merely stepping stones for you. Yes. Zhang Xianjing nodded, feeling a bit better. Lingling. Dr. Jiang appeared behind Zhang Lingling unknowingly. Aunt Jiang. Zhang Lingling quickly composed herself. Dr. Jiang looked at the vibrant Mrs. Zhang in the distance and asked, "The medicine I gave you last time, have you been giving it to your mother these days?" "I have." Zhang Lingling nodded. "I gave it to her personally." Dr. Jiang smiled and said, "Well, then the medicine is really effective. Your mother seems much better." Zhang Lingling turned her gaze to Mrs. Zhang. Among the crowd, Mrs. Zhang was laughing and chatting with everyone, without even panting. Everyone knew that previously Mrs. Zhang had a persistent cough, which would flare up just from speaking a single sentence. These days, Mrs. Zhang's condition has shown unbelievable improvement. Zhang Lingling's eyes narrowed, yet she still smiled and said, "Thanks to Aunt Jiang's remarkable medical skills. Otherwise, my mother wouldn't have recovered so quickly." Dr. Jiang modestly laughed. Halfway into the banquet, it was time for the dance session. The waltz music flowed gently around the hall. Old Mrs. Zhang smiled and said, "You youngsters go dance. I'm too old to join the fun." Zhang Lingling chuckled as she approached Mrs. Zhang. "Mother, you are wrong. Being the star of tonight, Tingting should be the one to dance the opening dance." Ni Cuihua had grown up in the countryside and only married Shangguan Dehui 3 months ago. Asking Ni Cuihua to perform the opening dance was Zhang Lingling's devious plan to make her look foolish. As an uncultured countrywoman with no place in high society, Ni Cuihua would surely make a spectacle of herself on the dance floor. "Since sister is so kind, we won't refuse." Shangguan Dehui led Ni Cuihua to the center of the dance floor. As the music played, they began to dance. Not only could Ni Cuihua dance, but also she danced very elegantly. One after another, applause echoed around them. Thunderous. Watching Ni Cuihua in disbelief, Zhang Lingling's face twisted almost beyond recognition. She could actually dance. A countrywoman could actually dance. "Yang, shall we dance too?" Mo Qishan extended his hand towards Ni Yang. "Sure." Ni Yang took off her coat and placed her hand in Mo Qishan's. With beautiful, elegant dancing steps, the graceful waist of hers seemed to be made of willow, boneless and delicate. Such a dance performance even professional dancers couldn't compare. This beautiful dance, contrasted with the cheongsam, was unique throughout the city. That woman in the cheongsam is old Mrs. Zhang's biological granddaughter, right? Yes, it's her. Oh my gosh. She is amazing. She's way prettier than Zhang Xianjing. Listening to these words, Zhang Xianjing squeezed her fists and trembled in rage. Why Ni Yang? Why could she take away all her glory? "Mother, didn't you say we could watch them make a fool of themselves?" Zhang Xianjing approached Zhang Lingling, grinding her teeth as she spoke. Zhang Lingling was also extremely upset, her face alternating between green and white. How was she to know that Enai Tsuehua could actually dance? Could it be taught by Shangguan Dehui? Did she just lose what she tried to steal? Chapter 755. Self-inflicted_2. Zhang Lingling could not help but despise herself for letting Enai Tsuehua open the dance floor. "Mom, what should we do now?" Zhang Xianjing then asked. With such a grand kinship identification party held today, where could their family of 3 ever stand in the future? Don't act rashly, just watch for changes. Zhang Lingling suppressed the anger in her heart. Having struggled for so many years in the upper class, Zhang Lingling certainly knew that she couldn't be too impulsive at such a time. Sometimes being too impulsive could not only fail to achieve one's goal, but also bring trouble to oneself. Zhang Xianjing bit her lip. Are we just going to let them take center stage? She simply found it unbearable. Usually, when the Zhang family hosted banquets, many eligible bachelors would invite her to dance and then take the opportunity to strike up a conversation. But today, not a single person came over to invite her to dance, not to mention striking up a conversation. With Enai Yang, the legitimate granddaughter of the Zhang family present, what did she, the daughter of an adopted daughter, amount to? Zhang Xianjing grew increasingly indignant. She wanted to smash the wine glass she was holding. At this moment, Enai Yang passed by her. The person accompanying Enai Yang was a well-known socialite from Beijing. Back when she was the only granddaughter of the Zhang family, at every Zhang family banquet, this woman would hover after her. But in the blink of an eye, her object of flattery had turned into Enai Yang. Zhang Xianjing, glancing at the blooming smile on Enai Yang's face, squinted. Enai Yang was wearing a cheongsam and a pair of silver-white high heels. If she fell by accident, her position would definitely be very ungraceful. Zhang Xianjing cornered her lips, holding her wine glass, and quietly stretched out her right foot. Enai Yang seemed not to see Zhang Xianjing's small action, her eyebrows and eyes as usual. While talking to the socialite next to her, she kept walking forward. At this moment, thud. Zhang Xianjing stumbled and fell flat on the ground, her red wine spilling all over the floor. The previously lively banquet hall quieted down. Everyone's eyes were looking in this direction. A banquet was a solemn occasion. Everyone's every word and action were extremely careful. They cared greatly about their image. There was never someone like Zhang Xianjing who couldn't even walk properly. Who is that person who fell? Today there are those who are pleased and those who are downtrodden. She is the daughter of the Zhang family's adopted daughter. In public, really quite embarrassing. Understand. Her heart must be unpleasant right now. It's normal for her to lose her cool. Alas, there really is a difference between one's own and not one's own. The voices of the crowd drilled into Zhang Xianjing's ears incessantly. She lay on the ground, her hands tightly gripping the carpet, her knuckles already turning slightly white. Clearly, the one who should be embarrassed was Enai Yang, so why had she become the one lying on the ground? Just then, a fair and graceful hand stretched out in front of Zhang Xianjing. The nails were neatly trimmed, translucent with a faint hint of pink. They looked very nice. Sister Xianjing, how could you be so careless? Get up quickly. Zhang Xianjing looked up and caught sight of a face as white as jade. It was Enai Yang. The person who had just made her stumble and made a fool of herself was surely Enai Yang. Enai Yang, this little bitch, what was she doing now? Was she demonstrating her power to her? Zhang Xianjing's face turned whiter and whiter as she stared at Enai Yang. Sister Xianjing, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? A faint smile spread across Enai Yang's face, her eyes shimmering with concern. This stirred up a lot of speculation among the people around them. Zhang's grandmother's attention was quickly drawn to the anomaly here. At this moment, Zhang Xianjing had no choice but to swallow her pride. She handed her hand to Enai Yang. Thank you for your concern, little sister. I'm fine. That's good. Enai Yang helped Zhang Xianjing up, her tone indifferent. Sister Xianjing, be careful when you walk in the future. You were lucky today. If one day you happen to fall onto a chair or wall, you might not be so fortunate. That last line was both a hit and a warning. After finishing speaking, Ni Yang turned around and left. Zhang Xianjing looked up at Ni Yang's retreating figure. She knew that all of this was surely Ni Yang's doing. It was Ni Yang who made her look bad. Xianjing, what was that all about just now? Nang Lingling walked over from the other side, her eyebrows and eyes filled with reproach. At such an important occasion, how could you lose your poise like that? She had originally arranged for Zhang Xianjing to shine today. Chapter 756. Self-inflicted_3. Let everyone see that although Zhang Xianjing isn't of the Zhang family bloodline, she resembles the Zhang family more than the real blood members. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, Zhang Xianjing has been made such a big fool. It's Ni Yang's fault. It's all that little bitch. Zhang Xianjing's eyes turned red in grievance. Zhang Lingling slightly furrowed her brows. Her eyes shifted from blame to heartache. I didn't expect Ni Yang to be so arrogant. It was just her first day back and she dared to openly bully Zhang Xianjing. Mom, you have to get revenge for me, Zhang Xianjing said. Zhang Lingling patted Zhang Xianjing's hand. Don't worry. There's plenty of time in the future. I'll first get you changed into a fresh set of clothes. Zhang Xianjing nodded. The people attending today's banquet were all prestigious figures in Beijing. Have you heard? Mr. Du from the south came to our Beijing not long ago. Mr. Du? Which Mr. Du? From the way you're talking, how many people are worthy of being called Mr. Du? After hearing that, the person gasped. Is it Mr. Du from the 10 Miles Casino? Exactly. The master who rules the 10 Miles Casino. When Zhang Xianjing walked out after changing her clothes, she heard this conversation. She instinctively slowed down her steps. She also knew a bit about the Mr. Du from the 10 Miles Casino. She heard about him when she was sitting in the tea house, listening to the storytelling. Mr. Du was indeed a big shot who had risen from a sea of blood and carnage. It was said that he was over 30 this year, without a wife or children, although he did have 2 concubines. In ancient times, having a concubine also meant having a mistress. Now, the term concubine no longer exists in China. However, Mr. Du had long renounced his Chinese citizenship, so the monogamy law of China could not restrain him. Yet, such a man could become the head honcho of the 10 Miles Casino. There were many legends about Mr. Du, but few people had actually seen him. Zhang Xianjing didn't expect that Mr. Du would come to Beijing. If she had the chance to get close to him, it would certainly catch everyone's attention. Zhang Xianjing was lost in her thoughts. Although she wholeheartedly wanted to marry Mr. Mog, it wouldn't affect her mingling with other big shots. More so, if it's a major figure like Mr. Du, if she was able to marry Mr. Mog and make Mr. Du respect her, becoming a servant under her skirt, would anyone in Beijing still dare to look down on her? She was so beautiful. As long as she was given a chance to get close to Mr. Du, she could definitely catch his attention. Thinking this, Zhang Xianjing's steps became light and fluttery. After the banquet ended, Ni Cuihua, Ni Yang and their group didn't leave, but stayed at the Zhang family's house. The old madam wanted them to stay for a while. She had been separated from Ni Cuihua and her daughter for so many years, and now that they had finally recognized each other, it was of course time to reconnect. The old madam asked a servant to bring Zhang Suyu down from upstairs. Ting Ting, this is your Aunt Suyu. The old madam pulled on Zhang Suyu's hand, tears in her eyes. Suyu, Ting Ting has come back. Zhang Suyu laughed. Ting Ting, Ting Ting, what's up with Aunt? Seeing that Zhang Suyu's expression was a bit off, Ni Cuihua turned her head to look at the old madam. The old madam sighed. Your aunt received a shock many years ago, and her mental state hasn't been clear ever since. Ni Cuihua nodded. Shangguan Dehui looked at Zhang Suyu, his eyes full of disbelief. Years ago, when he was still a child, he had seen Zhang Suyu a few times. At that time, Zhang Suyu was young and promising, a famous talent. She was always surrounded by a group of scholars. She was really high profile and was a legend in their circle. Who would have thought that things change over time? The talented woman of decades ago had now become like this. Now, Zhang Suyu was disheveled, skinny, and had a vacant look in her eyes. her past glory nowhere to be seen. If not for seeing it with his own eyes, who would believe that this woman was once the highly talented figure of the past? Who knows what Zheng Suyu had really been through? Shangguan Dihui's eyes were full of pity. The old madam said again, Yang Yang Xiaoxi, Xiaoshu, come over here and say hello to your great aunt. At her words, Enai Yang, Shangguan Shi, and Shangguan Su came over. The three of them politely greeted their great aunt. Zheng Suyu began spinning excitedly. Ha! I'm a great aunt. I'm a great aunt. The great aunt is here. Suddenly, her face turned pale, as if she had seen something terrifying. She screamed in horror. Ah! A ghost! A ghost is coming to kill me. Please don't kill me. Let me go. Chapter 757. Self. Inflicted _4. Ah! Let go of me. Let me go. Zheng Suyu started running around the living room, as if something was really chasing her from behind. The furnishings in the room were knocked about by her, falling to the ground with a clatter. It was Shangguan Zai's first time encountering such a patient, and she was so scared that she hid behind Shangguan Su. Zheng Suyu in this state was indeed somewhat frightening. Little Enai Yun stopped playing with his toys and ran to Shangguan Dihui, asking him for a hug. Old Mrs. Zhang hurriedly said to a servant, Mama Wu, quickly bring Suyu's sedative. We don't want her to scare the children. Zheng Suyu's condition would fluctuate, sometimes failing to recognize even her own family during her fits, at times even resorting to violence. This was also why old Mrs. Zhang did not let her attend the banquet today. Mama Wu quickly went upstairs to get the medicine. Zhang Xianjing leaned against the railing on the 3rd floor, watching the scene unfold below with a look of anticipation and excitement. Let the chaos ensue. I hope Zheng Suyu will lose her mind and kill everyone downstairs. Just then, Enai Yang looked up and suddenly made eye contact with Zhang Xianjing upstairs. Their eyes met. Hers were bright, yet wild. Zhang Xianjing felt inexplicably flustered and hastily looked away. Enai Yang narrowed her eyes slightly, a thought flickering in the depths. Zhang Xianjing. What was she panicking about? Just then, a pair of hands tightly clamped onto Enai Yang's shoulders, violently shaking her. You're a ghost. You're a ghost. I'm going to kill you. Everyone in the room was startled by Zheng Suyu's action. However, looking at Enai Yang, there was no trace of panic in her face. She grabbed Zheng Suyu's wrist with one hand, and with the other took a golden needle from her acupuncture bag and gently pricked Zheng Suyu's Laogong acupoint. Madam, please calm down. The next second, Zheng Suyu indeed quieted down. Enai Yang sat Zheng Suyu down on the sofa and asked, Granny Zheng's illness is acquired, right? Right. Old Mrs. Zheng nodded. Old Master Zheng suddenly thought of Enai Yang's impressive medical skills and asked, Yang, do you believe you can help Granny Zheng regain her sanity? Enai Yang shook her head. In her previous life, she hadn't studied mental illnesses, but she knew for certain that her master would have a solution. Enai Yang squinted, thinking about when she could visit her master. In this life, her senior brother had not met an ill fate, and her master and his wife must be living happily. Old Master Zheng then asked, So how did you calm Granny Zheng down? Just a moment ago, Zheng Suyu was terribly agitated, and the next she quieted down. Even with regular medicine, the effect wouldn't be so immediate. Enai Yang held up Zheng Suyu's right hand. This is the Laogong acupoint. Inserting a golden needle into this point has a calming effect. Since ancient times, the Laogong acupoint has been known to medical experts as a crucial point for treating mental and heart diseases. Acupuncture on it could alleviate conditions such as depression, irritability, and nervous breakdowns. The hope in old Master Zheng's eyes dimmed. So that's how it is. Enai Yang added, Grandpa, don't worry. Since Granny Zheng's disease is acquired, there must surely be a cure. Old Master Zheng nodded. Just then, Zhang Lingling came down from upstairs, laughing as she said, Children, I have prepared your rooms. Come with me. Shangguan Shi and Shangguan Su did not originally intend to stay at the Zheng family's house. But today was the first day that Enai Tsuehua had returned to her ancestry. If they didn't stay over even for a night, it might invite unnecessary gossip from outsiders, so they decided to stay. "Thank you, Auntie." And Aiyang politely thanked them. The three of them followed Zhang Lingling upstairs. The room of Nai Tsuehua was personally prepared by old Mrs. Zhang at the top floor where the lighting was the best. The room was always reserved for Nai Tsuehua. In the evening, Aiyang lay in bed, unable to sleep despite tossing and turning. Seemingly peaceful on the surface, the Zhang family concealed a crisis within. For example, the illness of old master and old Mrs. Zhang. Why were they chronically ill? Why were toxins present in their bodies? Also, Zhang Suyu, what led to Suyu's madness? Was there something hidden beneath all this? With all these thoughts and the unfamiliarity of the bed, she ended up spending the whole night without sleep. Early the next morning, Aiyang got out of bed. Although she had not slept well all night, her face did not show the slightest sign of fatigue. Chapter 758. Self-inflicted _5. Wearing a simple cheongsam paired with an overcoat, her hair cascaded down her back, with a clip of the same color as the cheongsam holding back a strand at her ear. She was a sight to behold. Yang is up, Zhang Lingling, who was preparing breakfast, warmly greeted Aiyang as she came in. She showed no traces of dislike for Aiyang. Her eyebrows were brimming with affection. Aiyang greeted her cheerfully. "Good morning, Auntie." "Good morning," Zhang Lingling chuckled. "Not only are you a beauty, but your words are also as sweet as honey. Unlike our Xianjing, who's a bit aloof. She's not particularly good-looking and isn't quite the charmer either. Her introverted demeanor is really baffling." With her silver tongue, Zhang Lingling could make the dead come alive and make the living dance to her tunes, leaving them utterly confused. If the person in front of her wasn't Aiyang, they would have surely dropped all their defenses. Aiyang lightly hooked the corner of her mouth, her dimples barely visible. "Auntie, you're being too modest about Sister Xianjing. She's quite an incredible person as well." Zhang Lingling narrowed her eyes. Aiyang was indeed no easy target. Ordinary teenagers hearing such pleasant words would have been completely disoriented. But not Aiyang, she managed just fine. Soon, Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi got up as well. From Shangguan Zu's perspective, he could see Aiyang's profile. Sitting at the dining table, she wasn't adopting the poised posture that most young ladies from big families did. Instead, she sat with her left leg crossed over her right, exuding casual confidence. Her cheongsam had been amended, with a slit that wasn't too high, revealing a graceful calf that was dazzlingly white. Looking up, there was her uniquely delicate face. The shadows cast by her curled eyelashes on her nose bridge were fan-like. Her lips were red, echoing the clip by her ear. Such a person would attract attention wherever she went. "Yang, why did you get up so early?" Shangguan Shi skipped over and sat next to Aiyang. Shangguan Su looked away distastefully. Aiyang laughed. "It's not that early. You two are up too, aren't you?" Shangguan Shi giggled. "Well, we have work, but you don't." As she spoke, she noticed Zhang Lingling emerging from the kitchen and quickly greeted her. "Good morning, Auntie." Zhang Lingling smiled. "Oh, Xiaoxi and Xiaoshu, you're both up. How did you sleep last night?" Shangguan Shi replied, "Thank you for your concern, Auntie. We slept really well." Soon, the elders Zhang and his wife, Nai Tsuehua, and Shangguan Dehui joined them for breakfast. It was a full house at the Zhang family's dining table. It was the first time that the dining room was filled with so many people. The sight was overwhelming for the elderly Zhangs. They had been waiting for such a family reunion for many years. Now, death would leave nothing to be regretted. Halfway through the meal, Mrs. Zhang finally noticed Zhang Xianjing's absence and asked, "Lingling, where is Xianjing?" Zhang Lingling replied, "I have no idea where that child is. She vanished early this morning, probably off somewhere to have fun. Mom, you needn't worry about her." Even though Zhang Lingling was smiling on the outside, inside, she was cursing the old lady. "You old hag, only realizing Zhang Xianjing is missing now? Why couldn't you have waited until everyone finished eating before mentioning it?" Just then, A noise was heard from outside the door. Zhang Lingling looked up to see Zhang Xianjing walk in. With a frown, Zhang Lingling scolded, "Xianjing, where have you been all this time? Didn't you know we were all eating? You have no manners." Zhang Xianjing wasn't alone. She was supporting a smiling Zhang Suyu. Looking a bit wronged, Xianjing replied, "Mother, when I got up this morning, I saw Grandma Suyu sitting alone on the couch. I decided to take her out for a walk. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be late." Old Mrs. Zhang stood up. "Xianjing, you're a good girl. Quickly bring your grandma over for breakfast." "Lingling, how can you scold the child like this? She was just being filial." Zhang Xianjing had always been kind-hearted and compassionate since she was a child. Zhang Xianjing led Zhang Suyu to sit at the tableside. These days, Zhang Suyu couldn't eat on her own and needed assistance. Chapter 759. Self-inflicted_6. Zhang Xianjing took the bowl and chopsticks from the servant's hand. "Let me feed Aunt Suyu." Zhang Suyu was restless while eating, often spraying food all over the person feeding her. In just a few minutes, Zhang Xianjing was sprayed twice. "Fun! Fun! So much fun!" Zhang Suyu clapped her hands joyfully. Zhang Xianjing didn't get angry. She calmly wiped the leftovers off her face with a handkerchief. Her lips still held a smile, and she kindly said, "Aunt Suyu, you mustn't be naughty. We have to eat properly." Who else could tolerate such behavior from Zhang Suyu? Seeing Zhang Xianjing being so understanding, both the Zhang family's patriarch and matriarch were very reassured. Zhang Lingling unintentionally exchanged glances with Zhang Xianjing, and both saw the satisfaction in the other's eyes. And Ai Yang took a sip of milk, her gaze sweeping over everyone unnoticed. Is Zhang Xianjing really that kind? From what she knew of Zhang Xianjing, unless the sun rises from the west, Zhang Xianjing would certainly not be a person of goodwill. The Zhang family's water was too deep. She had to probe carefully to ensure that her grandparents could live their final years in peace. After breakfast was over, everyone began to go about their business. Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi went to work. Before they left, they informed the matriarch that they would not be coming the next evening. Firstly, because it was inconvenient due to work, and secondly, there was a generational gap between them and the matriarch. Moreover, their paternal grandmother was still alive. How would it look if they always stayed at the Zheng family's house? And Ai Yang left the house with Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi. Shangguan Su asked, Yang, where are you going? I can drive you there." And Ai Yang replied, "No need. I will ride my bike. I have several places to go this afternoon. It would be inconvenient if you were to drive me." "All right then. Just be careful on the way," Shangguan Su instructed her. "Okay." And Ai Yang nodded. At that moment, the matriarch came out from inside. Yang, where are you going?" "Our family might lack other things, but we have plenty of cars. I can assign a driver to you and have them take you there." Upon hearing this, Zhang Lingling's face was full of disbelief. What? This old hag actually wanted to assign a driver to an Ai Yang. She had served this old hag in the Zheng family for so many years, and the old hag had never thought of assigning a driver to Zhang Xianjing. What did she mean by this now? Was she deliberately trying to embarrass her? Anger was seething up inside Zhang Lingling, but she could not vent it out. And Ai Yang smiled and said, "No need, Grandma. I prefer to ride my bike." She preferred bicycles over cars, and Ai Yang was someone who was immensely nostalgic. This bicycle had been with her since she started her business 2 years ago. She couldn't bear to retire it. With an Ai Yang's current financial status, if she wanted to switch to a car, she wouldn't have to consider it at all. She could easily afford not just 1, but 10 cars without batting an eyelid. And Ai Yang was the type who silently amassed wealth. "Let me assign a driver for you then. Riding a bike requires pedaling. It's so tiring," the matriarch insisted. And Ai Yang replied, "Not at all. I have to leave now, Grandma, bye." The matriarch helplessly laughed. This child. Shangguan Dehui didn't have class today. He had already discussed with Anai Tohua the night before about bringing the Zheng family patriarch and matriarch out for fun today. Throughout these years, The elderly couple had been continually searching for Anai Tsuehua, without taking the time to enjoy themselves. Anai Tsuehua said, "Why don't you come with us, Lingling?" "Sure." Zhang Lingling nodded. It was an important occasion. Of course she would go. What if, in her absence, the old Master Zhang and Madame Zhang handed all the Zhang family's property over to Anai Tsuehua? She had to closely watch Mr. Zhang and Mrs. Zhang at all times. Now it was already April. The sunshine was warm. Both sides of the road were lined with cherry trees, which were just blooming right now. The beautiful pink blossoms were a sight to behold from afar. Anai Yang was cycling down the road. The gentle breeze stirred up the pink cherry blossoms, creating a flurry of petals. Petals fell into her hair, onto her shoulders, and brushed past her cheeks, causing her to instinctively stretch her arms wide. Anai Yang had good control of her bike. Even with her arms outstretched, she cycled steadily. From afar, she exhibited a vibrant sense of beauty and skill. A black car whisked past her. Just as the black car drove by, a figure dashed across from the other side of the road. "Whi-dash?" Anai Yang quickly braked and jumped off the bike. "Are you okay, sis?" The girl appeared 16 or 17 years old, her face smeared with a layer of dark dust, making it hard to see her actual features. However, her giant sparkling eyes lit up her face. Although it was already April, she was still wearing a thick cotton-padded jacket with floral patterns. The girl was about to say something when a pallid woman rushed from the side, grabbed her arm and started running. "Xiao Yun, let's go, we're running out of time." Wu Yenyun had no time to respond and hurriedly followed her mother. The mother and daughter ran all the way to stop in front of a large hotel. The mother's name was Yen Erju. As she ran, Yen Erju instructed Wu Yenyun, "Xiao Yun, remember to serve yourself plenty of meat and vegetables. Aim for things like roast chicken and pork knuckle. Your grandma hasn't tasted meat for a long time." Wu Yenyun nodded. "Okay, Mom, I understand." Starting yesterday, the hotel began offering a buffet service with an abundance of food. Many who had difficulty getting a good meal or were financially strained would come to eat at this buffet. Not only could they eat their fill, but they could also take some home. The banquet was rumored to have been sponsored by a wealthy family celebrating the return of their long-lost daughter. This indeed was a good deed. Besides this mother and daughter, many others came from afar, making the hotel lobby extremely crowded. Meanwhile, in the car, a man who had been calmly reading the newspaper suddenly put it down and looked back. However, due to the high speed of the car, he could no longer see the road behind clearly. "Mr. Du, what are you looking at?" Wang Ziki, the driver, looked back and asked. "Nothing." Mr. Du picked up the newspaper again, asking, "How is the investigation going?" Wang Ziki, of course, knew what Mr. Du was referring to, and replied, "We have some leads now." Mr. Du's expression changed. "When can we get a definitive answer?" He never cared about the process in his work, only the results. "We need to confirm a few more things," Wang Ziki responded. Wang Ziki knew Mr. Du well. If he didn't have any leads by now, Mr. Du would not be sitting back and reading the paper so tranquilly. Mr. Du nodded. "All right, I'm waiting for the results." Wang Ziki continued. "The fourth lady called yesterday." Mr. Du remained silent. Observing Mr. Du's expression, Wang Ziki added, "After you cut off all her funding, she's been living poorly, often going meal to meal. She brought it upon herself. You don't need to sympathize with people like her." Mr. Du spoke indifferently, clearly unaffected by whatever plight the fourth lady found herself in. Chapter 760. The Secret of Ginseng Soup _1/4 Miss is a typical internet critic, enjoying the money of Master Du on the one hand, while on the other hand, she curses him as the most evil capitalist, wanting to overthrow the Master Du, acting recklessly. Now that Master Du has cut off all her sources of income, she certainly deserves it. After thinking about it, Wang Ziki continued, "So we just let fourth Miss go like this? Master Du used to spoil fourth Miss, or else he wouldn't have indulged her for such a long time." After a while, Master Du's voice echoed in the air. "She wanted freedom, didn't she? Then I'll give her freedom." Wang Ziki was taken aback. Was Master Du completely giving up on fourth miss? Master Du continued. From now on, if she calls, you don't need to answer. All right. Wang Ziki nodded agreement. Today is the opening day of Beijing's 15th Fairskin Beauty Store. With great discounts and unlimited purchases of limited products today, as soon as the store opens, it is filled with people. The 5 employees simply couldn't keep up with the rush. And Yang put on her uniform and began working with the others. I want 10 sets of the Supreme Edition limited gift boxes. The Supreme Edition limited gift box costs 580 yuan each, but the rich people in Beijing can afford it. It was supremely difficult to get one of these limited edition gift boxes before, as this rare opportunity of unrestricted purchasing arose with the opening of the new store. Of course people wanted to buy more. And Yang smiled slightly. I'm sorry, customer, but each person is limited to purchasing one Supreme Edition limited gift box. I thought it wasn't restricted today? The voice of the person sounded obviously unhappy. And Yang explained, no restriction means the total quantity is not restricted. As long as customers visit the store, everyone can purchase the limited products. On a normal day, these limited edition products are only limited to 60 sets per month. Many people came hoping to buy them, but left with disappointment. Oh, is that so? Can't I really buy 10 sets? Can't you make an exception for me, young lady? And Yang continued, I'm really sorry. These are the store's rules. I can't easily violate them. Your boss must be a fool then. Doesn't even know when to make money. Give me 1 set. All right, please wait a moment. And Yang took out a set of Fairskin Beauty and handed it to her. Limited sales in the mall is called hunger marketing. As the saying goes, rarity is the most precious thing. If Fairskin Beauty had always been available without limitation, its sales would definitely not be as good as they are now. And being a limited sale give people a high-end feeling. Zhang Xianjing is also a loyal fan of fair-skinned beauty. A year ago, her skin was very rough, and she needed foundation to cover up her flaws. But since she started using fair-skinned beauty, her rough skin problem has improved a lot. Even without makeup now, her skin is still glowing with hydration. Today is the grand opening of Fairskin Bowtie's new store, with unlimited supply of limited products. Of course, Zhang Xianjing wouldn't miss it. Zhang Xianjing and her young friends came to the Fairskin Beauty store. This young friend was called Zhou Yi, Zhang Xianjing's college classmate. They also lived in the same dormitory and got along well. Wait a moment. Just as Zhang Xianjing was getting ready to go in, she spotted a familiar figure. What's wrong? Zhou Yi turned around questioningly. Zhang Xianjing carefully recognized the figure in the crowd. I think I see someone I know. Who? Zhou Yi asked. Zhang Xianjing continued. It's my new younger sister. Zhang Xianjing deliberately pronounced the 2 words younger sister with emphasis. To think that Yang would actually work at Fairskin Beauty. What was going on? Zhou Yi then added, is it the younger sister who wants to compete with you for your family property? Yes. Zhang Xianjing nodded her head. Due to Zhang Xianjing's intentional vilification, Zhou Yi had a very bad impression of Yang. Isn't your family quite rich? Why would your grandmother let her work? This is so embarrassing. Country folks are just country folks. Even if they dress up in princess clothes, they don't look like princesses. Zhang Xianjing continued. She's doing it on purpose. What do you mean? Zhou Yi asked. Zhang Xianjing said, by doing this, she just wants to get my grandmother's attention. You think, if my grandmother sees her working here, she's bound to be heartbroken. As soon as my grandmother feels bad, she'll give her all the family property. By then, there would be no share for me and my mother. The Zheng family is not lacking food and drink for Yang. But Yang is pretending to be pitiful and working outside. It's clearly on purpose. Chapter 761. The Secret of Ginseng Soup _2. Their cunning is truly deep. Zhou Yi exclaimed in surprise. Oh my God! Your new sister has no shame at all. You and your mother have been taking care of your grandparents for such a long time. Even if you're not related by blood, your emotional bond is even stronger. How dare they sit idle and reap the benefits and try to steal from you? Zhang Xianjing sighed helplessly. Zhou Yi continued, wait, he'll teach her a lesson for you. Forget it. Zhang Xianjing held onto Zhou Yi's arm, pleadingly saying, we would often run into each other. It wouldn't be good if things get too tense. Zhou Yi is someone who can't stand injustice, and Zhang Xianjing is her good friend. She can't stand Zhang Xianjing being bullied. It doesn't concern you if I am the one who teaches her a lesson. You just wait here. It's the long-haired girl, right? Zhang Xianjing nodded. Don't make a big scene, after all. She is still my sister. Zhou Yi, speechless, said, what are you still considering at this point? Sisterly affection. Then Zhou Yi turned and walked towards the store. Watching her figure, an imperceptible smirk appeared at the corners of Zhang Xianjing's mouth. Zhou Yi is quite naive and easy to inflame, just like a firecracker, ready to explode at the slightest provocations. Perhaps she reads too many martial arts novels, aspiring to be a chivalrous woman who vanquishes evil. This time, an Yang might be in trouble. The store is crowded with people lining up. Even if Zhou Yi wanted to make it difficult for an Yang, she couldn't do it immediately. Zhou Yi stood in line, observing an Yang. As she got closer to the front of the line, she suddenly realized that Zhang Xianjing's sister was incredibly beautiful. Her skin was as white as snow, lips red and teeth white. For all appearances and charm, even the dull uniform she wore couldn't hide her ethereal temperament. Every frown and smile was exceedingly eye-catching. She, a woman herself, found her eyes brightening and heart fluttering at the sight. Because the store was so crowded, people bumped into each other, causing a glass bottle on the shelf to fall. The glass bottle was about to hit a little girl. Just as Zhou Yi was about to intervene, she saw a figure move faster than she could. The figure gently held the little girl in one arm and deftly caught the falling glass bottle in the other. Steady as a rock, her posture was incredibly cool. Zhou Yi stood in stunned silence. A heroine. She was precisely the type of heroic woman she imagined in her mind. Are you okay, little girl? An Yang put back the glass bottle and looked down at the little girl. I'm fine. The little girl shook her head and quickly ran to her mother saying, Mama! The mother, engrossed in her conversation, had missed the small incident entirely. Zhou Yi's gaze toward an Yang gradually turned into admiration. An Yang looked beautiful when she smiled and had adorable dimples, and she was incredibly agile. It was hard for anyone to dislike her. After a while, it was finally Zhou Yi's turn. Outside the door, the smugness in Zhang Xianjing's eyes became more apparent. At this point, Zhou Yi, who was earlier planning to give Zhang Xianjing a piece of her mind, had put that thought at the back of her mind. Excuse me, miss, I need a bottle of whitening cream and wrinkle cream. All right. An Yang nodded lightly. Zhou Yi scratched her head and continued, Can I ask what your name is? She was really curious. An Yang. An Yang's tone was light. An Yang, what a lovely name. An Yang, have you ever practiced martial arts? Zhou Yi made a few gestures on the spot. You were so cool back there. An Yang smiled and said, Thank you. I have practiced martial arts and Chinese kung fu for a few years. In her previous life, she had mastered kung fu and martial arts to protect herself but was still schemed upon. In this life, her senses had become sensitized ever since she saved that high official in Dam Village. The combination of her heightened senses and martial arts made her movements more agile. Zhou Yi nodded. So that's how it is. Outside the door, the more Zhang Xianjing watched, the more something seemed wrong. Didn't Zhou Yi go in to give an Yang a hard time? Why were they now having a pleasant conversation? What an idiot Zhou Yi was. What on earth was she doing? Zhang Xianjing's lips tightened. She was itching to rush in and slap Zhou Yi. Soon after, Zhou Yi walked back out, smiling broadly. Xianjing, you must have misunderstood something. I think your new sister is quite nice. She's beautiful, handles things smoothly, and even her voice is pleasant. If I were you, I would be overjoyed to have such a fantastic sister. Chapter 762. The secret of ginseng soup _3. Upon hearing this, shock flooded Zhang Xianjing's face. What in the world had happened? Why did Joey suddenly side with Ni Yang and speak up for her? Zhang Xianjing's complexion changed continuously. She sighed deeply, her face filled with bitterness. I knew this would be the outcome, she said dejectedly. What outcome? Joey asked. Zhang Xianjing responded with a bitter laugh. Just because she's pretty, everything she does is right. Well, I'm used to it. She was stepping back to move forward, shifting the hatred back onto Ni Yang. No, Joey continued. I didn't side with your sister because she's beautiful. I genuinely think she's a good person, not a bad one. Zhang Xianjing, her head lowered and filled with a sense of grievance, responded. You've truly been fooled by her. She's like a venomous snake in human skin. If you're not careful, she can deliver a lethal blow. You haven't spent time with her, so I can understand why you've been misled. Really? Zhou squinted her eyes. She couldn't help but feel that Ni Yang was not that kind of person. Zhang Xianjing continued. Look at you now, even doubting my words. Think about it. We've been classmates for so long. When have I ever lied to you? Whatever, I give up. Zhou said. This is too convoluted. It's giving me a headache. Anyway, I really like your sister. You dislike yours, I like mine. Let's just keep it that way. Zhang Xianjing bit her lip hard, feeling intense resentment. Why? Why did Ni Yang get to snatch everything away from her? First, she took away her grandparents, and now she was even trying to take her best friend. At the Zhang family's home, the elderly Mr. and Mrs. Zhang hadn't had such fun in a long time. Even after coming back from the park, their faces still bore happy smiles. At that moment, the butler escorted Dr. Zhang inside. Madam, Dr. Zhang is here. Dr. Zhang inspected Mrs. Zhang's health every month and a half. Xiaoyan's here. Mrs. Zhang smiled at Ni Yang. Yang, come here. The last time there were too many people, and I forgot to introduce you to Grandma Zhang. Ni Yang responded and approached her. Grandma Zhang. Dr. Zhang nodded and said, This child is really beautiful. Aching, just like you when you were young, right? I think so too. The corners of Mrs. Zhang's eyes brimmed with warmth. Ni Cuihua served a plate of fruits. Dr. Zhang, have some fruit. Mrs. Zhang said, Xiaoyan and I are lifelong best friends. Tingting, you should call her Aunt Zhang. All right. Ni Cuihua looked up at Dr. Zhang. Aunt Zhang. She hadn't really paid attention to Dr. Zhang during the last familial reunion, but finding a closer look at her today, she found her strangely familiar. Very familiar. It was as if she had seen her somewhere before. Ni Cuihua squinted her eyes, but simply couldn't remember where she had seen Dr. Zhang before. Dr. Zhang subtly shifted her gaze away from Ni Cuihua, placed her medical box on the tea table, and said to Mrs. Zhang, Aching, shall we start now? I heard from Lingling that you've been feeling much better recently. Mrs. Zhang nodded. Yes, I'm much better. Ever since she followed Ni Yang's advice, her cough had almost completely disappeared. Nowadays, the only reason she invited Dr. Zhang over was so that she wouldn't overthink. After all, Dr. Zhang was also her lifelong friend. Dr. Zhang put on her stethoscope, then examined Mrs. Zhang's tongue and eyes, before saying, There's still some inflammation. They'll prescribe you some more medicine. All right, Mrs. Zhang nodded. Dr. Zhang took 2 small bottles of medicine out of her medical box and handed them to Mrs. Zhang. This capsule is to be taken once a day. The other one is to be applied externally, 1 patch on the belly button each day. Mrs. Zhang noted down the instructions carefully. As Dr. Zhang was about to leave, she bumped into Zhang Lingling, who was carrying a bowl of ginseng soup. Aunt Zhang's here. Lingling. Dr. Zhang walked over with a smile. No wonder I didn't see you inside. You were making ginseng soup for your mother. Lingling, you're such a filial child. Just then, bang! Dr. Zhang lost her footing, knocking over the bowl of ginseng soup in Zhang Lingling's hands. I'm sorry, Lingling. Did you get burnt? Dr. Zhang apologized immediately. My old age is affecting my vision. Sorry? Zhang Lingling frowned. It's fine, Aunt Jiang. It was just a couple of bowls of ginseng soup. Doesn't matter. Chapter 763. The Secret of Ginseng Soup _4. Dr. Jiang squatted down to pick up the shards. Your mother's health has almost fully recovered. Drinking things like ginseng soup has more harm than good. You don't need to make it for her anymore. What? Zhang Lingling looked at Dr. Jiang, thinking she must have misheard. Dr. Jiang continued, although ginseng is a great tonic, it is also a medicine. As the saying goes, even medicines can be harmful. In short, just listen to me. Zhang Lingling nodded. All right, Aunt Jiang. Dr. Jiang patted Zhang Lingling's arm. I'll be leaving then. Zhang Lingling quickly put down the shards she was holding. I'll walk you out. Dr. Jiang looked at the mess on the floor. No need. You carry on with your chores. Zhang Lingling quickly asked the servants to mop up the spilled soup from the floor. And Ai Yen was standing behind a large antique vase, observing the whole scene. The conversation between Zhang Lingling and Dr. Jiang seemed normal, but upon closer inspection, it was full of suspicions. Was she overthinking things? Or was there indeed something strange between those two? And Ai Yen narrowed her eyes slightly and tiptoed towards the kitchen. The Zhang family's kitchen was huge and it produced a large amount of daily waste. When she arrived, she happened to see the servant throwing the shards into the bin. After the servant left, and Ai Yen stepped out from the corner, picked up a piece of shard, and sniffed it. It did smell like ginseng soup. Was she really overthinking it? And Ai Yen didn't linger and pulled a handkerchief from her pocket. She wrapped the shard in the handkerchief and left. Nobody would think that someone would take away a piece of a broken bowl. That evening, and Ai Yen visited Mrs. Zhang's bedroom. Who's there? Mrs. Zhang asked from inside the room. Grandma. It's me, Yang Yang. And Ai Yen responded. The next second, the door opened. The person opening the door was Mr. Zhang. Yang Yang, come in quickly. Mrs. Zhang was sitting on the sofa with her reading glasses on, looking at something. Seeing Ai Yen's arrival, she immediately said, Yang Yang, come over here. Ai Yen walked over with a smile, and then saw that Mrs. Zhang was holding a black and white photo of a very cute young baby. Mrs. Zhang laughed. Yang Yang, does this baby look like Yun Yun? This is your mother when she was little. Really? And Ai Yen was somewhat amazed as she took the photo. So this is my mother when she was young? She does look quite like Yun Yun. Mrs. Zhang continued. So, the moment I first laid my eyes on little Yun Yun, I knew she was somehow related to me. It's fate. After looking at the photo, and Ai Yen said, Grandma, I have something to ask you. Go ahead. Have you known Dr. Jiang for a long time? And Ai Yen asked. Yes. Mrs. Zhang nodded. If we were to calculate, I have known her for more than 30 years. 30 years wasn't a long time nor a short one. And Ai Yen continued. So, is she our family's physician? Has she always been managing your health? Mrs. Zhang further nodded. I owe my health to her. Yang Yang. Dr. Jiang has no children. She is quite pitiful. If we can help her in the future, we should. Okay. And Ai Yen continued. Grandma, how did you meet Dr. Jiang? Race how it was. Mrs. Zhang began reminiscing about the past 30 years. Dr. Jiang is indeed a good person. Otherwise, she wouldn't have crossed the Pacific, overcoming countless obstacles, to bring Zhang Lingling to Mrs. Zhang's side. The world 30 years ago was not as it is now. One could only imagine how hard it would have been for Dr. Jiang, a woman, to travel alone with a child. No wonder Mrs. Zhang trusted Dr. Jiang. There was this reason behind their relationship. And Ai Yen squinted her eyes and said, Grandma, can I see the medicine prescribed to you by Dr. Jiang today? I will get it for you. Mr. Zhang rose from the sofa to fetch it. A moment later, Mr. Zhang handed 2 small white bottles to Ai Yen. Ai Yen carefully examined the 2 bottles of medicine and found them to be common anti-inflammatory drugs. Mrs. Zhang asked, Yang Yang, have you found something? And Yin continued, Grandma, do you remember when you and Grandpa first visited Jinghua village? I told you that the toxins in your bodies might have been deliberately caused by someone. Chapter 764. The Secret of Ginseng Soup _5. I remember, Mrs. Zhang nodded. But you also said that these toxins could have possibly resulted from food incompatibility. Once she finished speaking, Mrs. Zhang exclaimed surprisingly, Yang, are you suspecting the doctor? The doctor had absolutely no motive. Why would she poison anyone? And Yang replied, one has to safeguard against the possibility of harm from people. Even though the doctor doesn't have a motive, there is one person who does. Since my return, hasn't someone been afraid that my mom would start fighting with her over the family property? And Yang was direct about her thoughts. Although Zhang Lingling hid it very well, she couldn't escape from Yang's eyes. If Zhang Lingling was a good mother, she wouldn't have raised Zhang Xianjing to be the way she was. Mrs. Zhang turned pale. Lingling, although she is somewhat greedy, she's not a bad person. Zhang Lingling was brought to her house at the tender age of 7. Mrs. Zhang took care for her with her own hands, and even though she wasn't her birth child, Mrs. Zhang saw no difference. Mrs. Zhang couldn't believe it. She refused to believe that the child she raised single-handedly could do such things. She is Lingling's mother. Can a daughter hurt her mother? I also know what Lingling worries about, which is why I already drafted my will. After I and your grandfather pass away, the Zhang family's property will be split equally between your mom and your aunt. They both know this. They are both my children, so I treat them all equally. Zhang Lingling doesn't need to harm her at all. And Yang continued, Grandma, please don't get agitated. I'm just making a guess. As for the real reason, she would find out the truth and everything would become clear. Grandfather Zhang remained silent as if he was mulling over something. After understanding a few things from Mr. and Mrs. Zhang, Yang returned to her room. On her way back, she passed by Zhang Suyu's room. She heard a burst of noises coming from Zhang Suyu's room. Yang halted, knocking at the door. Auntie, are you okay? The noise in the room seemed to have lowered a bit. Auntie, can you open the door? This time, all noise from the room completely stopped. Yang furrowed her brows. Zhang Suyu wasn't thinking straight. It wouldn't be good if she did something that might hurt herself. Yang gathered her strength and directly twisted the doorknob, entering the room with purpose. Zhang Suyu's room was quite big. There was a small reception area up front, and then there was the main bedroom. Though Yang heard quite a commotion from outside, the room appeared to be in perfect order, completely different from what she had imagined. Auntie! Yang moved forward. Just then, Zhang Lingling walked out from inside. Yang, what brings you here? Your aunt is having an episode. Currently she doesn't recognize anyone. Leave quickly before she hurts you. Aunt Lingling? Yang was slightly taken aback. Let's go out quickly. Zhang Lingling grabbed hold of Yang's wrist. Yang silently shrugged off Zhang Lingling's hand and moved towards the bedroom. Zhang Lingling followed in Yang's footsteps. Yang, be careful. If you end up getting hurt by your aunt, don't blame me for not warning you. Just then, a figure suddenly rushed out from the bedroom. I'll kill you. I want to kill you. Liars. You all are big liars. Yang deftly avoided, extending her hand to hold Zhang Suyu's hand. Auntie, calm down a bit. Kill you. There was no chance of Zhang Suyu calming down. Left with no choice, Yang had to prick her needle at the Laogong acupoint once more. Only then Zhang Suyu quieted down. But even after she quieted down, Zhang Suyu was seemingly incapable of thinking. Her pair of eyes dulled and lifeless. There's an injury on her forehead. What happened? Yang asked. Zhang Lingling replied. When your aunt has an episode, she not only hits others but also hurts herself. It's not just her forehead, there are wounds at other places too. As she spoke, Zhang Lingling rolled up Zhang Suyu's sleeve, revealing that Zhang Suyu's arm was entirely covered in wounds. These were all done by your aunt herself. Just then, Zhang Suyu instantly retracted her hand and hugged An Yang tightly, crying, "Sister-in-law, it hurts. Suyu hurts so bad. There are ghosts. Ghosts want to harm Suyu." An Yang was stunned. Did Zhang Suyu mistake her for Mrs. Zhang? "Auntie, don't cry. Would you like me to treat your injuries?" Chapter 765. The Secret of Ginseng Soup _6. An Yang must have said something that triggered Zhang Suyu again. She pushed An Yang away and shrieked with horror. "Ah! Stop! I'm not sick. I won't take any medicine. I'm not sick. I'm not." Zhang Suyu stammered as she staggered backward until she ended up hiding under a table, looking all around in panic. An Yang's brows furrowed slightly. Zhang Suyu's sickness wasn't congenital, it was acquired. What kind of trauma did she endure to become like this? When she says that there is a ghost haunting her, is she hinting that this ghost might be the person who orchestrated her misery? An Yang squatted down. "I level with Zhang Suyu. Ma'am, how about you come out and talk? Don't worry. I won't harm you." "Ghost. You're a ghost. Stay away. Stay away from me," retorted Zhang Suyu, shuffling back in fear, her eyes pulsing with terror, her expression excruciatingly painful. Zhang Lingling intervened. Yang, your aunt's condition is quite critical now. Let's just leave. We don't want to agitate her more." Feeling helpless, An Yang had no choice but to leave for now. Once back in her room, An Yang sat at her desk, drawing a relationship chart of the Zhang family members. Why did Zhang Suyu go mad? Where did the toxins in Mr. and Mrs. Zhang's bodies come from? What role does the doctor play in all this? After An Yang finished her chart, she realized that besides Zhang Lingling, both Zhang Shang and Zhang Gao aspired for the Zhang family fortune, making things even more complex. Perhaps Zhang Suyu could be the breakthrough in this conundrum. It seemed that finding her master sooner was vital. An Yang looked out of the window to see the night deepening, with only a few stars scattered in the sky. She closed the curtain, turned around, and went to bed. After staying a few days at the Zhang family home, An Tsuehua intended to bring Mr. and Mrs. Zhang to stay in Jinghua village for a few days. After spending so much time at the Zhang family home, she missed her small house in the village. Mrs. Zhang agreed. "That sounds great. The air in the countryside is fresh. Staying there for a few days might be nice." "Let's bring Aunt Suyu along," suggested An Tsuehua. "Bring Aunt Suyu?" asked Zhang Lingling. "What if her sickness flares up while we're in the countryside? I should stay home and take care of her." An Tsuehua laughed. "No worries. The countryside is spacious. A change in environment might even benefit Aunt Suyu's health." Before Zhang Lingling could say more, Mrs. Zhang interjected. "Ting Ting, well, proceed as per your idea. Let's bring Suyu along." It was endearing to see An Tsuehua showing concern. Zhang Lingling narrowed her eyes and suggested, "Mom, then he'll accompany you." Mrs. Zhang disagreed. "Lingling, why don't you come next time? It would be inconvenient to leave the house unattended." The huge Zhang family home couldn't be left without a caretaker. Could it? Although Sun Wu was around, in Mrs. Zhang's eyes, he was as irrelevant as a grain weevil. Hearing this, Zhang Lingling humphed to herself. This is what happens when one has their own children. They forget about the adopted child. They were going out to have fun. Why should she stay home alone? Was she a guard dog? What if Mrs. Zhang gave all the Zhang family property to An Tsuehua behind her back? Damn old woman. "Then I will ask Xianjing to go with you," suggested Zhang Lingling. Mrs. Zhang asked, "Isn't Xianjing in school?" Zhang Lingling replied, "She is in college now. Missing a few days of classes wouldn't matter." Mrs. Zhang disagreed, slightly frowning. "That doesn't sound right. A student should focus on their studies. How can she arbitrarily skip classes? She needs to set the proper example as a student." Upon hearing this, frustration welled up inside Zhang Lingling. No matter how you look at it, they just didn't want her to come along. Zhang Lingling continued, "Mom, you're right. A student should prioritize their studies. I didn't consider it thoroughly." Mrs. Zhang nodded. "Lingling, The fact you understand the importance of your studies is enough. Please take care of things while we're gone. We won't be long. When the villagers of Jinghua village found out that Enai Tsuehua had found her long-lost parents and family, they were extremely happy. As soon as they arrived at the village outskirts, loud firecrackers could be heard, a jovial village celebration. Firing the crackers was a way to celebrate and express their joy. Congrats, Yang Yang's mom. Congrats. Congrats. I always wondered why Yang Yang's mom is so pretty. Turns out she's a lady of a grand family. Touched, Enai Tsuehua replied, Thanks, everyone. Tonight, come by my place for dinner. Let's enjoy the evening together. It was too late to prepare for lunch, so she decided to invite everyone for dinner instead. Enai Tsuehua started preparing for dinner. As she had been staying at the Zheng family residence for several days, her house had run out of provisions. She asked Shangguan Dehui to head to the city to buy some. Dehui, remember to buy lots of meat. Also grab enough alcohol and cigarettes. Enai Tsuehua told Shangguan Dehui. Shangguan Dehui nodded. All right, I got it. Meanwhile elsewhere, Wang Ziki, holding a stack of documents, knocked gently on Master Du's door. Master Du, come in. A voice came from inside after a while. Wang Ziki opened the door to walk in, stopping in front of a beaded curtain. Master Du was behind the curtain. Master Du, I found the person, declared Wang Ziki. The room fell silent for a moment. Afterward, a skeletal hand parted the beaded curtain. Master Du emerged. Who is it? Chapter 766. It's her _1. Master Du seemed to have just woken up, his face still beholden to a sense of drowsiness. He held a string of Buddha beads in his hand as he haughtily surveyed Wang Ziki. Wang Ziki continued. From my investigation, I found out the car that night belonged to the Zheng family, and the Miss Zhang from the Zheng family, Zhang Xianjing, was the one sitting inside the car. Look, this here is Zhang Xianjing's travel record for that day. Finishing his speech, Wang Ziki handed over the documents to Master Du. Master Du reached out and swiftly flipped through the records. According to the documents, Zhang Xianjing's travel time coincided with the time of the incident that night. And there's this. Wang Ziki passed one more photograph to Master Du. In the darkened background of the photo, a figure wearing a beige coat could be vaguely discerned. The figure's slipping hair hid their face. Master Du squinted. The scene set out in the photograph overlay with what he had seen that night. Even though Master Du had been severely injured at the time, his memory was clear. He clearly remembered that the person he had passed that fleeting instant wore a beige coat. Later, they hurriedly returned to the alley to see that figure get into a small passenger car. Because they had only had a fleeting look, the car sped off before he could respond. Where did this photograph come from? Master Du continued to question. This photograph was taken by a photo fanatic, Ziki explained. It had taken a lot of resources to obtain this photo. The term fanatic was a popular term of the 80s, used to express a kind of obsession towards something. Originally, the term had been introduced from Hong Kong Island. Do you have Zhang Xianjing's personal information? Master Du followed up. Yes. Wang Ziki nodded and handed over a document. Master Du reached out to receive it. Wang Ziki was an excellent subordinate. He delved deeply into Zhang Xianjing's personal data. No medical training? No martial arts training? Master Du flipped through a few pages of the documents and frowned slightly. That person from that night clearly possessed superb medical skills and formidable martial arts techniques. Otherwise, they wouldn't have managed to rescue them from such peril. But Zhang Xianjing was a typical upper-class lady. She'd studied violin, piano, and dance, but no martial arts. Moreover, she studied finance at university, which had no relation to medicine whatsoever. Could she be the person from that night? Since she was the one who saved his life, Master Du couldn't draw a conclusion too hastily. Master Du, one should not judge a book by its cover. Perhaps Miss Zhang is one who keeps her abilities hidden? You've been in this circle, you should know the depths it holds. Who can truly know? Wang Ziki said. One can never be entirely sure of such things. Having seen his fair share of the world, Master Du naturally understood this principle. Arrange a meeting with her at your earliest convenience. I wish to meet her personally. After a long while, Master Du spoke. Understood. Wang Ziki nodded. Ni family. Today, the NIS courtyard was exceptionally lively. Almost all the villagers had come, and no one came empty-handed. Some brought eggs, others brought fruits from their trees. Lady Zhang, who had lived in a large manor for so long, was experiencing such humble and genuine camaraderie for the first time. This was indicative of the popularity of the Ni family in Jinghua village. The dinner was prepared by Ni Cuihua and Ni Yang. The main course was beef stew noodles. Each table was served with 8 dishes, 5 meats and 3 vegetables. The beef slices were especially thick and large. Biting into a piece was a mouthful of meat. Along with the flavorful broth-soaked noodles, the food was delicious to the point of evoking sighs of delight. During dinner, people kept toasting to Lady Zhang and Old Master Zheng. Old Master, Old Lady, our toast to you. Old Master Zhang and Lady Zhang didn't display any air of disdain as they rose from their seats. Thank you. Thank you everyone for caring for our Ting-Ting for so long. We're not looking after Yang Yang's mom. It's clearly Yang Yang and her mother taking care of us. Old Master, Old Lady, you're truly blessed. You have such a good daughter, and your daughter has such an outstanding daughter. Ni Yang had done too much for Jinghua village. Everyone was deeply appreciative of her. Had it not been for Ni Yang, Jinghua village would still be on the same level as the other villages. Jinghua village's conditions were obviously much better than other villages, far more than a few times over. While the other villages had an annual income not exceeding 100, the average income of the people in Jinghua village had surpassed 500. Chapter 767. It's her _2. The wide and long cement road alone was enough to make people in other villages envious. After dinner, each family would leave one person to help Ni Cuihua clean the kitchen and wash the dishes. With many hands at work, it didn't take long for the small kitchen to be tidied up neatly. Mrs. Zhang sighed. The atmosphere of this village is really great. Mr. Zhang nodded. Yes, it feels like we've gone back many years. After spending many years in elite circles, the emotional warmth had faded somewhat. The next day, Ni Yang planned to visit her master and his wife. She bought a lot of nutritional supplements and set off on her bike. The couple lived on the other side of Beijing, more than 60 kilometers away from Jinghua village. Riding a bike was not enough, so Ni Yang cycled to the city, then took a taxi. Standing in front of the familiar courtyard gate, Ni Yang was filled with mixed feelings. At this point in her previous life, her senior brother had already been killed, so 2 white lanterns hung in front of the small courtyard, making it look desolate and lonely. In this life, her senior brother was still alive and well, and the red lantern was still the same as before. It was a relief. Ni Yang knocked on the door of the courtyard. After a period, the door was opened by a kind-looking old lady in her 60s or 70s. Hello? Who are you looking for? This was Wang Zhousher, her master's wife from her previous life. Coming from a feudal society, the master's wife had no name of her own. After marrying her master, she adopted his surname and combined it with her own to be called Wang Zhousher. Upon seeing her benefactors from her previous life again, Ni Yang's eyes welled up with tears. Mas? She nearly said master, but quickly swallowed it back and asked, Hello? Is this Dr. Wang's home? Wang Zhousher nodded. Yes, come in, young lady. For some unknown reason, even though it was her first time meeting this young lady, Wang Zhousher felt a very friendly sense of familiarity, as if they had known each other for a long time. The small courtyard was as familiar as ever. Wang Zhousher led Ni Yang into the living room. Sit here for a moment. Young lady, I'll go call someone for you. The master had no hobbies other than cockfighting and drinking. He was probably competing with his old buddies next door right now. After her senior brother's death in the previous life, the master suddenly aged overnight. He stopped cockfighting and drinking. That would be great, thank you. It's not a problem at all. It's the least I could do. You can wait here. Wang Zhoushi walked out, and Ai Yang sat in the chair, quietly observing everything in the living room. The living room's furnishings were very simple and clean. Although the master was a divine doctor, his lifestyle was quite modest. Because he never overcharged, and even paid out of his pocket when treating impoverished families. Soon after, Wang Zhoushi clutched a vibrant, glossy-feathered rooster and returned with Master Wang. Old Master Wang held the rooster in his arms, grumbling, "It's all your fault. Without your interruption, my undefeated general would have won." Wang Zhoushi replied, lost for words. "And what if he did win? Can we eat him? Can we spend him? I truly can't understand what's so amusing about this game with roosters. You're no longer young, and it's a bit shameful to act like this." Master Wang turned his head away in disdain. "A woman's opinion. I can't be bothered to talk to you." "I can't be bothered to talk to you either." Even as they bickered, they made their way into the living room. Seeing the couple return, and Ai Yang immediately stood up from her chair. "Dr. Wang." Master Wang was stunned. He didn't recognize this young lady. Traditional Chinese medicine pays attention to observation, listening, questioning, and pulse-taking, and just one glance told him that this young lady did not come to seek treatment. If she was not here for treatment, what was she here for? And Ai Yang read Master Wang's confusion and continued, "Dr. Wang, my name is Ai Yang, and the both of you can call me Yang Yang. I came here today to express my gratitude." And Ai Yang placed a pile of nutritional supplements on the table. Dr. Wang became even more confused. "Young lady, are you sure you haven't mistaken me for someone else?" And Ai Yang was so beautiful that if he really had seen her before, he would have remembered her. It was impossible for him not to have any impression at all. And Ai Yang had prepared a line of argument in advance. "Dr. Wang, do you remember saving a little girl from drowning 15 years ago? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't even exist now." Throughout his life, Dr. Wang had saved countless people. He vaguely remembered such an incident, but he had forgotten the specifics. Chapter 768. It's her _3. This child was one who understood gratitude. So many years had passed, yet she still remembered it in her heart. Dr. Wang smiled and said, "As a doctor, I am merely doing my duty to heal the sick and injured. There's no need for such courtesy, young lady." And Ai Yang continued, "Ever since the incident 15 years ago, I've aspired to be just like you, Dr. Wang, a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner who heals the sick and injured. Over the years, I've read quite a few medical books. Dr. Wang, I wish to take you as my master." And Ai Yang's sincerity was palpable. The medical skills she possessed were all taught by Dr. Wang. Therefore, it was only right for her to ask to formally become his apprentice. Old Dr. Wang stroked his beard. "If you wish to become my apprentice, you must have some real skills. You said you've read medical books, right? The young lady is so beautiful. Becoming an apprentice might just be a passing whim." Old Wang didn't take an Ai Yang's request to heart. "Yes." And Ai Yang nodded. "Follow me." Old Wang gestured and walked outside, and Ai Yang followed his steps. Old Wang took an Ai Yang to the courtyard. The courtyard was filled with an abundance of drying herbs. The air wafted with a subtle medicinal scent. Old Wang pointed at these herbs and said, "If you can correctly identify all these herbs today, they'll take you as my apprentice." Wang Zhoushi tugged at Dr. Wang's sleeve. "Old man, aren't you deliberately making things difficult for the young lady? There are so many herbs, even I can't recognize them all. How could she possibly do so?" Old Wang continued, "If she can't identify them, it means that we don't share a master-apprentice destiny." Wang Zhoushi, speechless, retorted, "What master-apprentice destiny you speak of? The young lady is so pretty. Just her willingness to accept you as a master should make you gleeful. Yet, here you are still flaunting your masterly arrogance." A woman's perspective. While the two were speaking, an Ai Yang approached the drying racks and began to identify the herbs. "This is chunbujian, purple velvet grass, stemless vine, crow leaf. These herbs have detoxifying properties. This is green ginseng, 5-flavor skin, chickspear vine, maple bark, old stork grass. These herbs can eliminate rheumatism and strengthen muscles. Dr. Wang's expression gradually shifted to surprise. He didn't expect Yang to successfully identify all the herbs. In addition, she not only recognized them all, but also understood the properties of the herbs. She was clearly a genius. Wang Zhoushi was also taken aback. She spent many years assisting Dr. Wang, and despite routinely drying these herbs herself, she couldn't identify all of them like Yang did. Doctors value talent, and old Wang was no exception. He walked over to Yang. Good, very good. Today, Wang Erge officially accepts you as his apprentice. Throughout his life, he had taken several apprentices, but none of them turned out promising. They couldn't even memorize the names of the herbs, leading them to eventually give up. Yang immediately knelt and kowtowed in respect. Master and mistress, please accept my salutation. Good child, stand up. The elderly pair walked over and helped Yang to her feet. Thank you, master and mistress. Yang addressed them naturally, delighting the elderly couple. Soon after, old Wang took Yang to pay respects to the ancestral master. Old Wang's medical skills were passed down from the lineage of Bien Quebec. Hanging on the wall was a portrait of Bien K, below which hung the portrait of a more recent ancestral master. Old Wang handed 3 sticks of incense to Yang. From today onwards, you are the 108th direct disciple of my Xian medical lineage. In the future, you must uphold the medical ethics, maintain integrity in practicing medicine. Live in peace, sleep in peace, bearing no guilt. I will heed your teachings. Yang bowed and placed the incense into the incense burner. Yang was very clever. Many things only had to be explained once by old Wang, and she would understand. Old Wang was overjoyed. After so many years, he had finally found a disciple with exceptional aptitude. Old Wang was eager to parade Yang around, to let everyone know how gifted his new disciple was. Old Wang stroked his beard, triumphantly saying, "Let's see how Lin Yuan mocks me now." Lin Yuan was old Wang's senior fellow apprentice and another divine doctor. His medical skills were on par with old Wang. The only difference was, Lin Yuan had an extraordinarily talented apprentice, and always boasted about his apprentice to old Wang. Furthermore, he mocked old Wang for having no one to inherit his medical skills. Wang Zhoushi laughed. "Look how smug you are." Old Wang took a sip of wine, crossed his legs and stated, "I do have something to be smug about." Chapter 769. It's her _4. Wang Zhoushi shakes his head helplessly, dealing with a person of such an age who still acts like a child every day. For 3 consecutive days, Yang spends the afternoon with old Mr. Wang. Wang Ziki seldom stays at home, and the old couple, Mr. Wang and Wang Zhoushi, find their home life quite dull. But with the arrival of Yang, smiles have returned to the faces of the elderly couple. Despite Yang's sound medical skills from her previous life, in her current life, she discovers lots of new information when she revisits her studies. Yang is flipping through a medical book when she looks up at Mr. Wang and asks, "Master, is there any way to cure mental illnesses?" Old Mr. Wang puts down his wine glass and replies, "There is one method, in fact. It was developed by our ancestral master, Bien Quebec." "Really?" Yang shows interest and puts down her medical book. Old Mr. Wang continues, "But this method is very dangerous. As the ancients said, improper use by a doctor could be life-threatening." "Is it that serious?" Yang frowns slightly. "Then, master, do you know how to do it?" "Of course I do. I'm your master. How could I not know?" Old Mr. Wang strokes his beard before continuing. "This method is called the Ghost Gate 13 Needles. According to the Emergency 1000 Gold Essential Recipes, Volume 14, Chapter 5 on Wind Epilepsy, it is mentioned, Bien K said, the needle has 13 holes to treat the illnesses caused by 100 evils. When administering the needles, start with the Ghost Palace, then the Ghost Letter, the Ghost Rampart, and the Ghost Heart. It is not necessary to conduct all 13 needles, just 5 or 6 points could be enlightening. The Ghost Gate 13 Needles is a distinctive therapeutic method from the profound knowledge of acupuncture, and is the most miraculous aspect of Chinese acupuncture. In ancient times, it was a secret technique not taught outside the family of mystical medicine practitioners. It specifically treats various mental disorders, which in modern medical terms include depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, schizophrenia, and other mental illnesses. This method gathers the essence of various acupuncture methods, utilizes different acupuncture points mechanism, and obtains unique curative effects upon reaching the disease. It holds an important place in the history of world medicine. To this day, medical researchers take the Ghost Gate 13 Needles as one of the important research topics. Old Mr. Wang casually picks up a medical book and hands it to An Yang. "You take this book and have a look." An Yang takes the medical book. The book is Chinese Medicine, Acupuncture, which contains detailed information about the Ghost Gate 13 Needles. As the name suggests, the Ghost Gate 13 Needles consist of 13 needles, which are administered over the course of 13 days. Also, the requirements for the practitioner are very high. Any slight negligence may result in a backlash. An Yang asks, "Master, have you ever applied the Ghost Gate 13 Needles?" "No." Old Mr. Wang continues. The Ghost Gate 13 Needles was a forbidden needle in ancient times. It involves karma. People without considerable merit and virtue cannot use it lightly, else it could result in a reduced lifespan and a discontinuation of their offspring. Usually, doctors would not use this kind of forbidden needle carelessly. Without saying any more words, old Mr. Wang adds, "The Ghost Gate 13 Needles are highly unorthodox. I've been practicing medicine for many years, and I haven't seen any of my colleagues daring to use it. Not even your senior brother dare to touch it. And Yang, don't you act recklessly. It is not easy for me to come across a talented disciple like you." And Yang slightly nods. "I understand, Master. Can I take this book home to study it further?" "You may." Upon returning home, An Yang begins to focus on studying the Ghost Gate 13 Needles. She wants to cure Zhang Suyu. She is determined to cure Zhang Suyu. Her sixth sense tells her that Zhang Suyu must know something. Cafe. Zhang Xianjing sits at a window seat, her gaze constantly shifting outside, as if waiting for someone. After a while, a tall man with bronze skin walks in and asks, "Hello, are you Miss Zhang?" Zhang Xianjing is startled. "Who are you?" She planned to meet with a classmate. She doesn't recognize the man standing in front of her. At this point, Zhang Xianjing realizes that the usually crowded cafe is only occupied by herself and this man today. The atmosphere is eerily quiet. Who is this man? What does he want to do? "My name is Wang Ziki, and I am Master Du's assistant," the man says, while placing a photo on the coffee table. "Miss Zhang, is this you? Master Du? The Master Du from the world-famous Bund in Shanghai?" Seemingly except for this Master Du, no one else would dare to call themselves as Master Du. No wonder he was able to book the entire cafe. Zhang Xianjing is thrilled, her heart pounding with excitement. Why would Master Du pay attention to her? And why did he get a photograph of her? Could it be he took a liking to her? Zhang Xianjing keeps her rising thrill in check and nods. "Yes, this is me." Chapter 770. It's her _5. Wang Ziki continued, "Miss Zhang, did you happen to be near Dellen Road one night 3 months ago?" A normal person would definitely not remember something from that long ago. But Zhang Xianjing remembered it very clearly. That night, she discovered that Mo Baichuan was with Zhao Jingrong and was severely humiliated by Jingrong. Zhang Xianjing knew that something was definitely off. She narrowed her eyes and proceeded to say, "This photo was taken near an alleyway off Dellen Road. I was indeed wearing this beige coat that night. By the way, why were you taking pictures of me?" Zhang Xianjing picked up the photo, a look of alertness on her face. Wang Ziki sat directly opposite Zhang Xianjing. "It seems Miss Zhang remembers what happened that night. What are you trying to say?" Zhang Xianjing narrowed her eyes. "Did something happen that night?" Wang Ziki continued, Miss Zhang, you are our savior. I assure you, I won't harm you. A savior? Zhang Xianjing was stupefied, her mind racing. Then it dawned on her. Wang Ziki must have mistaken her for someone else. So what should she do now? Should she go with the flow or deny it straight away? His name was a prominent one in Shanghai's high society. If she denied it, she would lose a good opportunity to come closer to him. Moreover, a savior. If she became his savior, wouldn't she have all Shanghai at her disposal? If Shanghai was hers, she wouldn't need to worry about her old relatives not giving her the Zheng family's wealth. Even the Zheng family would be proud of her. Finally, she could show them. This was a great opportunity. Of course, Zhang Xianjing could not let it pass. Wang Ziki added, Miss Zhang, do you have any wishes to fulfill? You are his savior now, he would do anything to help you. Zhang Xianjing carefully considered her words, then replied, My initial intention to save someone was not to gain anything. Mr. Wang Ziki, don't you think your actions are very disrespectful? The implication of her words was, had she wanted something in return, she wouldn't have left after saving them. At this point, Zhang Xianjing successfully aligned herself with the role of a savior. Her words had a touch of pride to them. I apologize, that was my mistake. Wang Ziki continued. But one should repay life-saving kindness. Miss Zhang, please give us the opportunity to express our gratitude. As he finished, Wang Ziki took out a box filled with diamonds and jewelry and placed it in front of Zhang Xianjing. Miss Zhang, this is a small token of our gratitude. Please accept. Having grown up in an affluent family, Zhang Xianjing immediately recognized the jewelry which came from Y country. It was once worn by a princess of Y country in the last century. As expected of him, he was indeed generous. Even though Zhang Xianjing was tempted to take the necklace of considerable value, she decided not to. As the saying goes, favors are easily forgotten. What if, after taking the necklace, consider her as someone who is fond of vanity, and ignore her? So, she has to bide her time to catch a bigger fish. She needs to make him remember her favor for a lifetime. Zhang Xianjing picked up her bag, stood up sharply from the chair and coolly said, No need. She was not one to love vanity. Therefore, she wouldn't accept his gift. Miss Zhang. Wang Ziki followed Zhang Xianjing's steps. In a corner where Wang Ziki couldn't see, a triumphant smile played across Zhang Xianjing's lips. She had never dreamed that one day she would end up being his savior. Wang Ziki signaled a waiter who quietly stuck out a leg. Zhang Xianjing lost her balance and nearly fell. Fortunately, she grabbed the door frame to steady herself. Wang Ziki rushed forward to help her. Miss Zhang, are you all right? I'm fine. Zhang Xianjing shook her head. Wang Ziki continued. You want to go home? Let me drive you. No need. Zhang Xianjing straightforwardly rejected. We have a chauffeur at home. Also, please don't come to see me anymore. Your actions are very troubling. Even if it weren't you and him that night, I would have saved anyone else in your situation. I never intended to gain anything from it. Chapter 771. It's her _6. Upon finishing what she had to say, Zhang Xianjing turned around and left. Wang Ziki watched as Zhang Xianjing got into a black sedan before turning and heading into the cafe. As soon as he stepped in, he saw a man clad in a plain long robe, Duyi, walk out. It's not her. What do you mean, it's not her? Wang Ziki was taken aback. Her voice is different, her height is different, and her nimbleness is different too, Duyi continued. Having interacted with the woman at close quarters that night, Duyi had failed to get a good look at her face, but he remembered her voice distinctly. Moreover, he recalled that when they brushed past each other, her height was level with his ears. But Zhang Xianjing was considerably shorter than Wang Ziki. Moreover, Duyi noted that the kick sent towards Zhang Xianjing had been intentionally arranged to gauge her agility. If Zhang Xianjing were indeed remarkably agile, she would not have fallen easily. Miss Zhang didn't fall earlier, Wang Ziki said. That's because she held on to the door, Duyi noted. Wang Ziki fell silent. After a moment's thought, he said, but she admitted that she was the one there that night. Wang Ziki was a little naive. As he himself didn't lie, he unconsciously assumed that no one else in the world did either. Running his fingers over the Buddha beads, Dui said, "Who wouldn't want to attract wealth to the degree that she does?" He had encountered countless women like Zhang Xianjing who tried to evade capture by instigating their pursuers to catch them. He was now used to their antics. Incidentally, he came today hoping to make some progress but left feeling disappointed. Could it be that Miss Zhang wasn't the one we encountered that night? Wang Ziki asked. But the car was from the Zhang family. And who else could it be if not her? Don't the Zhangs have anyone apart from Zhang Xianjing? Yi retorted. The Zhang family includes old Mr. Zhang and Mrs. Zhang, who are too old to be the person we're looking for. Also, there are Zhang Lingling and her husband Sun Wu, who were adopted by the Zhangs. However, after our investigation, it seems that Zhang Lingling didn't go out that evening and Sun Wu, a grown man, is certainly not the one. The only possible person is Zhang Xianjing. Moreover, her picture was taken by a fan, so there's nothing left to doubt, Yi. It was definitely Zhang Xianjing who saved us. What if this is all a coincidence? Yi asked in return. Wang Ziki scratched his head. Are there really so many coincidences in this world? There's no such thing as the perfect story without coincidences. Yi mused, running his fingers over the Buddha beads. Identifying his savior was important. Yi did not want to mistake her identity mistakenly. This would not only be disrespectful towards the person who saved him, but also irresponsible towards himself. Wang Ziki suddenly seemed to remember something. Right, Yi? The Zhangs have recently found their biological daughter, Zhang Tingting. She has a daughter herself who is about the same age as Zhang Xianjing. But the thing is, Zhang Tingting was only recently reunited with the Zhangs, so the timeline doesn't add up. With narrowed eyes, Yi fell silent. Finding himself at a loss, he wondered if he might have been mistaken from the start. Perhaps, the person he'd seen when returning was not the one who'd come to his aid. Reflecting on this, Yi asked, "That night, when you were supposed to take me to the hospital and had to go back and forth on the way, how much time had passed before you got back to the mouth of the alley?" About. Wang Ziki thought for a moment, 20 minutes or so. 20 minutes. A lot could happen in 20 minutes. No normal person would linger around a dangerous alley for 20 minutes. Moreover, when Yi had come out, he thought he'd seen a bicycle parked in the corner of the alley. But when he came back, the bicycle was missing. Ziki, when you were helping me out, did you see a bicycle on the side? Yi pressed on. I don't think so. With Yi seriously ill, Wang Ziki had been so anxious that he didn't have the time or disposition to notice anything else. I saw one, Yi remarked, eyes narrowed. It was a Phoenix brand bicycle. Wang Ziki said, Yi, are you sure you weren't hallucinating? You were severely injured and almost unconscious at the time. How could you possibly observe things so closely? I still think the person was Miss Zhang Xianjing. Had it really just been his hallucination? As he leaned back in his chair, Yi tapped his fingers on the table. Then, he took something out of his pocket and handed it to Wang Ziki. Here, give this to Zhang Xianjing. It was a red velvet box that held an exquisite crystal hair clip. Under the light, it glimmered dazzlingly. What a coincidence it was. When he brushed past her, the hair clip she had on fell into his hand. Due to the urgency of the situation, he hadn't had the chance to return it to her then. All right. Wang Ziki took the velvet box and nodded. Chapter 772. Wise Uncle Du. Ignorance. _1 After saying this, Wang Ziki asked again, what if Zhang Xianjing doesn't accept? Zhang Xianjing doesn't seem like a greedy person. Otherwise, she would not have rejected that extremely expensive necklace. Master Du was unflustered, leisurely twirling his Buddha beads. If she doesn't accept, let her see what's inside the box. Even though Wang Ziki didn't understand what Master Du meant, he still nodded. After thinking for a moment, Wang Ziki asked, what if even after seeing what's inside the box she still doesn't accept? Master Du glanced at Wang Ziki. Then bring it back. All right. Wang Ziki headed out of the room with the small velvet box. As soon as Zhang Xianjing returned, she immediately informed Zhang Lingling about the situation. Zhang Lingling was surprised and stated, Xianjing, are you serious? This man is Master Du. Master Du is an influential figure in Shanghai. The Du family is from Shanghai and they are legendary. If Zhang Xianjing can win Master Du over, her future will be bright. Then, the Zhang family will become the most prominent among all the wealthy families in Beijing. Yes, it's true. Zhang Xianjing nodded. Master Du's assistant personally came to see me. He even gave me a necklace that was worn by a queen from Y country last century. Did you accept it? Zhang Lingling asked anxiously. I didn't, said Zhang Xianjing, shaking her head. Zhang Lingling managed to keep her emotions in control and said, Then it's good that you didn't. A man like Master Du has seen all kinds of women. If you accepted something from him today, it would mean that you would owe each other nothing. Who is Master Du? Isn't he surrounded by different types of women? What Zhang Xianjing needs to do is to differentiate herself from others. Only by being different can she catch Master Du's eye. A necklace from the last century is nothing. The most important thing is to gain Master Du's favor. Zhang Lingling truly knows men well. Zhang Xianjing then told Zhang Lingling about how she had refused Master Du's offer. Hearing this, Zhang Lingling repeatedly nodded in agreement. Well done, Xianjing. You did an excellent job. Continue in this manner, only then will you be able to catch Master Du's attention. With Zhang Lingling's reassurance, Zhang Xianjing felt more confident about her actions. She was beautiful and talented. As long as she used a few tricks, she was sure that Master Du would be charmed by her. With sparkling eyes, Zhang Xianjing seemed to envision the envious looks she would get from people in the future. After saying this, Zhang Lingling continued, By the way, your grandparents are coming back today. Remember to behave when they arrive, understand? Zhang Xianjing nodded impatiently. Zhang Lingling patted Zhang Xianjing on the shoulder. Bear with it for now. Once you have won over Master Du, they will have to fawn over you whether they like it or not. Okay. In the afternoon, as expected, the old Master Zhang and his wife returned, accompanied by Zhang Suyu, Enai Tsuehua, and Shangguan Dehui. The happy group made Zhang Xianjing and Zhang Lingling feel a little out of place. A hint of displeasure flashed through Zhang Lingling's eyes, but she still walked forward with a smile. Mom, Dad, you're finally back. While you were away, Xianjing kept talking about you. We are back. The old Mrs. Jing nodded. Xianjing, didn't you have classes today? Zhang Xianjing shook her head. I had no class in the afternoon, and knowing that you and Granddad were returning, as soon as my morning classes ended, I came back. The old Mrs. Zhang held Zhang Xianjing's hand. Good girl. It's a rarity for you to think of us. The old Mrs. Zhang had watched Zhang Xianjing grow from a baby into this graceful young woman. She truly loved this granddaughter of hers. Zhang Xianjing wore a smile on her face, but she had a cold smirk in her heart. That old hag. On the face of it, she treated Zhang Xianjing as a favored granddaughter. But behind her back, she planned to divide the Zhang family's wealth among others, which was detestable. Not long after, the Zhang family had more visitors. Zhang Shang and Zhang Gao arrived, each bringing their family members with them. The old Mr. and Mrs. Zhang had been absent from home for several days, so naturally, they wanted to make a good impression now that they were back. Even a minor share of the Zhang family's wealth would be enough for them. Zhang Yingyue and Zhang Yingmei were calling everybody aunt and cousin. They couldn't have been more affectionate if they tried. In the past, when they visited the Zhang family, they would try to win Zhang Xianjing over. But now that nobody wanted Zhang Xianjing, they changed their tactics to win over the old Mrs. Zhang, Enai Tsuehua, and little Enai Yun. Chapter 773, Wise Uncle Du, Ignorance, _2. Last time at the family reunion, it was clear to them, Enai Tsuehua and Enai Yang were far from being country folks. Now, making them happy was the most important thing. Zhang Xianjing sat there, her face twisted in anger, but she still maintained a polite smile. She wouldn't lower herself to the level of those who lacked discernment. Just then, a servant walked over and said, "Madam, there's someone downstairs looking for Miss Xianjing." "Who is it?" Zhang Xianjing looked up at the servant. "I don't know." The servant shook his head. "Didn't he say who he was?" Zhang Xianjing asked. "No." The servant continued shaking his head. "Don't let him wait outside. It's impolite, Xiao Zhao. Let the guest in," the old Mrs. Zhang said. "Yes, madam." The servant left to get the guest. Soon, the servant returned with a tall man. Zhang Xianjing's eyes brightened, the knots in her heart unraveling. She nudged Zhang Lingling's arm and whispered, "Mom, he's Dus' assistant, Wang Ziki." Zhang Lingling gave a soft cough and said in a voice only they could hear, "Good. I understand. You must be careful. Do not act like the vulgar women outside and displease Du." Zhang Xianjing nodded her head. Of course, she knew this. The servant brought Wang Ziki to them. Wang Ziki bent politely and said, "Miss Zhang." Zhang Xianjing replied with a hint of displeasure, "Why have you come again? Didn't I make myself clear this morning?" As the Zhang family always emphasized manners, old Mrs. Zhang scolded with a stern face, "Xianjing, how can you speak to a guest like this?" Wang Ziki immediately said, "Are you the Zhang parents?" "I'm Wang Ziki, Dus' assistant. I'm here today to convey Dus' gratitude to Miss Zhang." "Du?" Did old Mrs. Zhang just squint? The Du from Shirley House? The Du from Shirley House was known to be ruthless and sharp. Almost everyone in the circle knew him. Hearing this, Shangguan Dehui also looked at Wang Ziki. He had heard about Dus' feats, but he had not expected to meet Dus' assistant today. "Yes." Wang Ziki nodded. 3 months ago, Du was in danger in an alleyway on Dellen Road. Luckily, a woman with heroic spirit rescued him. After investigation, it was found that the woman was Miss Zhang. Du has been wanting to express his gratitude, but Miss Zhang has refused. What? Zhang Xianjing saved Du? She was Dus' life-saving benefactor. Hearing this, everyone looked at Zhang Xianjing in disbelief. Zhang Xianjing just stood there, her face unchanged, but her heart was racing. This Wang Ziki arrived just in time. Those people who didn't want to interact with her earlier must now be regretting it. With that, Wang Ziki turned to Zhang Xianjing and said, "Miss Zhang, Du would really like to express his gratitude. By the way, this is a gift from Du, please accept it." Wang Ziki spoke while opening a red velvet box as per Dus' orders. In the velvet box was a dazzling crystal hairpin with delicate tassels. It looked stunning. This was a gift from Du. It must be worth a lot. Zhang Yingyue and Zhang Yingmei looked on in envy, their hearts filled with bitterness. They stretched their necks in an attempt to see what was in the box. Most girls liked shiny jewelry. Unfortunately, she was not an ordinary girl. Zhang Xianjing looked at the hairpin and then calmly looked away. "Take it back. I won't accept this." She refused. Zhang Xianjing actually refused. No one expected Zhang Xianjing to decline Dus' gift. Zhang Yingyue was looking with regret in her eyes, wishing she could rush forward and accept the gift on Zhang Xianjing's behalf. "Miss Zhang, this is a token of Dus' gratitude," said Wang Ziki. Zhang Lingling chimed in. "Sir, Xianjing has already made herself clear. Please kindly take your gift and leave." Wang Ziki looked troubled. "Please leave," Zhang Xianjing continued, "and do not come again." Chapter 774. Wise Uncle Du. Ignorance. _3. Madame Zhang said, "Sir, as the Buddha says, saving a life is more meritorious than building a 7-storied pagoda. Xianjing saved Mr. Du. She is indeed amassing virtue for herself. Since she doesn't wish to accept these gifts, please take them back." Madame Zhang was very pleased that Zhang Xianjing was so reasonable. Others may not be as indifferent when faced with wealth and power. Wang Ziki bent slightly towards Madame Zhang. "I will come to visit you again." Madame Zhang nodded. With no other option, Wang Ziki had to leave with the unaccepted gifts. After Wang Ziki left, the initially quiet living room immediately became lively. Madame Zhang looked at Zhang Xianjing. Xianjing, why didn't you tell us about this? Zhang Xianjing said, it was just a matter of convenience. I didn't think it was worth mentioning, so I didn't tell you. Zhang Lingling said, Xianjing has always had a kind heart since she was a child. She wouldn't even hurt an ant on the road. Madame Zhang nodded in satisfaction. Zhang Shang looked at Zhang Xianjing with a fawning smile. Saving Mr. Du is not a small matter. You see, Mr. Du is a big shot in Shanghai. Xianjing, I'm your uncle. When you have time, please speak on my behalf in front of Mr. Du, so your cousin Minghui can also benefit from your good deed. Zhang Shang and his children are all typical snobs. Just a moment ago, they hadn't shown this much enthusiasm. A sarcastic smile formed at the corner of Zhang Xianjing's mouth. Uncle, you joke too much. I don't have the ability to speak on your behalf in front of Mr. Du. Moreover, why would a high-profile person like Mr. Du listen to my ramblings? I'm not joking. How could this be a joke? Zhang Shang responded. You're the one who saved Mr. Du's life. Zhang Xianjing took a sip of tea and did not say a word. Zhang Gao then added, Dear niece, while you're thinking about your cousin Minghui, don't forget your cousin Mingming. A group of shameless people. Zhang Xianjing put her teacup on the table, turned to Zheng Shang and Zheng Gao, laughed. Isn't it surprising how you uncles suddenly remembered me just now? Even a clay figure has its own temper. Did they really think they could toy with her? An embarrassed look flashed across the faces of Zheng Shang and Zheng Gao. Regretting the fact that they had ignored Zhang Xianjing earlier, they had to change the subject. Sweet niece, there you go joking again. Madame Zhang looked at Zhang Xianjing and continued. Xianjing, it was right of you not to accept Mr. Du's gifts. We, the Zhang family, should behave with such grace. Zhang Xianjing nodded. Thank you, grandmother, for your praise. With such an accomplished daughter, even Zhang Lingling seemed brighter. She puffed up her chest. Her gaze landed on Anai Tsuehua, her eyes hardening. Just wait, one of these days, she would kick this country bumpkin out of the Zhang family's door. In just a moment, the tone around them shifted. The guests who had just been flattering Anai Tsuehua now turned their boats and headed for Zhang Lingling and Zhang Xianjing's side. Anai Tsuehua sighed in silence. It is true that the human heart is the most fickle thing in the world. But it also allowed Anai Tsuehua to see the true faces of some people clearly. She initially thought that Zheng Shang and Zheng Gao, these two family members, were very kind. Now it seems they are not simple at all. Sun Wu was at work during the day. When he received the news in the evening, he became so happy that he felt like he was about to go crazy. Oh my God! My daughter is so awesome! Zhang Lingling said. What use is it for your daughter to be so awesome? Aren't you still a sure loser? If only Sun Wu had a bit of talent, ownership of the Zhang Corporation would have long been transferred. She wouldn't have needed to work so hard. As long as my daughter has the ability, what does it matter if I'm useless? Sun Wu retorted. When Mr. Du will also call me his father-in-law, countless people in Beijing and Shanghai will be envious of me. Zhang Lingling nodded in agreement. You are right about that. However, Xianjing wants to marry Mr. Mog. Although Mr. Du is powerful, he is still a bit lacking compared to Mr. Mog. Although Mr. Du is a tycoon, Mr. Mog is indeed internationally renowned. These two men belong to the one mountain cannot contain two tigers kind. Sun Wu continued. After all, Mr. Mog is virtual, while Mr. Du is concrete, and he came to us on his own initiative. Don't they always say in the old times, to repay someone's life-saving grace, one should promise their body? I think Xianjing should hold on firmly to Mr. Du. Otherwise we'll end up with neither the chicken nor the eggs, and we won't get anything. Chapter 775. Wise Uncle Du. Ignorance. _4. One might say that Sun Wu doesn't usually stand out, and that wouldn't be a false claim. Zhang Lingling kept nodding her head. Yes, you're right. They'll go talk to Xianjing right now. Zhang Lingling went to Zhang Xianjing's bedroom, where Xianjing was sitting on the sofa watching television. Mom! Zhang Lingling nodded, conveying Sun Wu's words to Zhang Xianjing. Xianjing, I think your dad is right. You have to seize this opportunity to win over Mr. Du. Zhang Xianjing smiled and said, Mom, don't worry. I've got this. Give up on Mr. Mog? Impossible. She wants to marry Mr. Mog, and at the same time, she wants to have Mr. Du fall for her, willing to give all for her. With that, Zhang Xianjing continued, Mom, when do you say I should stop rejecting Mr. Du? Zhang Lingling spoke with a smile on her lips. Until he comes to see you himself. Will he come? Zhang Xianjing was a bit worried. What if he doesn't come to see me? Don't worry. Zhang Lingling patted Zhang Xianjing's hand. He will. Zhang Lingling understands men well. Zhang Xianjing's rebellious behavior would pique any man's interest and curiosity. How could Mr. Du not come? After all, what you can't have is always the most appealing. After saying all this, Zhang Lingling returned to her own room. Wang Ziki went directly to Mr. Du's residence. Mr. Du sat at a desk by the window, reading Buddhist scriptures. Without lifting his head at the sound of footsteps, he asked, Was the item delivered? No. Wang Ziki shook his head, placing the small velvet box on the desk. Not delivered. As expected. Mr. Du's face didn't show any expression. You found the wrong person. What? Wang Ziki was taken aback. Mr. Du calmly turned a page of the Buddhist scripture. Zhang Xianjing is not the one who saved us that night. No need to look for her anymore. Fortunately, she didn't accept the necklace he offered before. Otherwise, he would have made a loss-making deal. Mr. Du never made a bad deal. On what basis are you sure that she wasn't the person from that night? Wang Ziki asked. To Wang Ziki, Zhang Xianjing seemed to be that person from the night. Otherwise, the coincidence would be too much. Because no one would reject their own things. If Zhang Xianjing's initial rejection of the necklace was because she was indifferent to fame and wealth, why would she reject this hairpin? Could she not recognize her own belongings? She was clearly playing hard to get. Did she think Mr. Du was like the impressionable young boys out there? Ignorant. Mr. Du lightly curled his lips. Wang Ziki didn't understand Mr. Du's meaning. Mr. Du didn't bother explaining further. He simply said, This matter still needs to be investigated. Wang Ziki scratched his head. Mr. Du, are you sure Zhang Xianjing is not that person? No. Mr. Du replied indifferently. Wang Ziki continued, But that car definitely belongs to the Zhang family. Mr. Du turned another page of the Buddhist scripture. The person in the car that night was Zhang Xianjing, and the person photographed by the fans was Zhang Xianjing. But Zhang Xianjing was not the person who appeared in the alley. If my guess is correct, the real person who saved me should be the owner of that Phoenix brand bicycle. At certain times, people may have a strong sixth sense. Mr. Du trusted his own sixth sense. Because the person who could save him was definitely not an ordinary, vain woman. But this Zhang Xianjing, she was more vain than the average. She even tried the old trick of playing hard to get. How cliched. Wang Ziki scratched his head. Mr. Du, are you sure that Phoenix bike wasn't just a hallucination? He always felt that the bicycle was a hallucination of Mr. Du's. No. Despite his serious injuries at the time, Mr. Du was certain it was not a hallucination. With that, Mr. Du stood up from the chair, turned his Buddhist scriptures over, opened the lid of the incense burner, and stoked the burning incense. You go ahead. Come and tell me when you found out the truth. Okay. Wang Ziki nodded, turned and walked out the door. Since he couldn't find the real savior, Wang Ziki had to start over with his investigation. This time, he looked into everyone in Beijing who had bought a Phoenix brand bicycle, and began investigating them one by one. Both Zheng Shang and Zheng Gao were extremely vain. Despite being warned by Mrs. Zhang not to spread around the news about Zhang Xianjing saving people, in less than a day, the whole circle of aristocracy had heard about it. Chapter 776. Wise Uncle Du. Ignorance. _5. Keep in mind, Zhang Xianjing is their grandniece. The grandniece's glory is their glory. Master Du is not someone ordinary rich families can get in touch with. Who wouldn't be envious of Zhang Xianjing at this moment? Those who had previously ignored Zhang Xianjing were now back flattering her in every possible way. Flattery is built on belittling others. To flatter someone, you must relentlessly belittle someone. Thus, N.I. Yang became the one everyone was stepping on. Even though Mr. Abner supported N.I. Yang, how could Mr. Abner compare to Master Du? Abner is from F country, his power is in F country. In China, he is just a wealthy foreigner. Xianjing, who is N.I. Yang? She's just a country bumpkin. You, on the other hand, are a legitimate rich and noble lady. What can she compare with you? Zhang Xianjing, as proud as a peacock, lifted the corners of her mouth into a triumphant smile. Siyu, do you really think so? Zhang Siyu nodded. Of course it's true. Zhang Xianjing laughed softly, intending to embarrass her. But didn't I hear you say a while ago that blood is thicker than water? How can a foster daughter compare to a biological one? Zhang Siyu looked somewhat embarrassed and pretended to have forgotten. Ah? Did I? I don't remember saying that. We've been sisters for so many years. Xianjing, how could I say that about you? Zhang Xianjing pointed at her ear. I heard you loud and clear, was it not so? It seems that Zhang Xianjing is not going to let this matter go today. Zhang Siyu said with a forced smile. Xianjing, my dear sister, even if I said that, can't you forgive me just this once for not seeing the bigger picture? It's all my fault for underestimating people. If it were not for Zhang Xianjing's current success, who would be willing to put up with her mood? Look at her smug expression. In her heart, Zhang Siyu cursed Zhang Xianjing 1,000 times. Zhang Xianjing glanced at Zhang Siyu. Siyu, you were right about one thing. You should never underestimate people. Zhang Siyu forced a smile, echoing, Yes, 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 you're right, Xianjing. So, can you forgive me now? Since you admitted you were looking down on people, how about doing an impersonation of a dog's bark for me? Zhang Xianjing continued. At these words, a ripple of laughter went around the room. The wealthy daughters looked at each other, seeing the amusement in each other's eyes. Even the usual sisterhood was gone, and no one came forward to mediate the situation. Such was the plasticky sisterhood of the wealthy households. Zhang Siyu's face turned green and white. Xianjing, stop kidding. Zhang Xianjing turned to Zhang Siyu. I'm not joking with you. Zhang Siyu took a deep breath, opened her mouth and under enormous pressure, made a dog's bark. The room immediately erupted in laughter. Zhang Xianjing burst out laughing, surprised. Siyu, I was just kidding with you. I didn't expect you to actually bark like a dog. Zhang Siyu stared at Zhang Xianjing. What are you talking about? Zhang Xianjing repeated. I said I was joking. I didn't expect you to take it seriously. To gain Master Dust protection, would you even abandon all dignity? But your barking really does sound like a dog. While saying the last two sentences, Zhang Xianjing burst into laughter, and everyone else joined in. Their laughter was like a thorn, piercing Zhang Siyu all over. She was utterly humiliated. Zhang Siyu's fury was instantly ignited by Zhang Xianjing. She stood up abruptly. A joke? Zhang Xianjing, you dare to joke about this? Zhang Xianjing had a hint of smile on her lips. What? Angry and embarrassed? When you were humiliating me, you never thought this day would come. Zhang Siyu was so angry that she was shaking all over. She grabbed her bag and stormed off. Even if Zhang Xianjing never had the intention to forgive her from the start, she shouldn't have toyed with her like this. This was too hateful. Zhang Xianjing didn't care about this matter. A mere Zhang Siyu wasn't worthy of her attention. These days, Zhang Xianjing received many gifts, including jewelry, the supreme skincare products with a radiant glow, and a VIP membership card from a famous boutique. Looking at these precious and luxurious gifts, Zhang Xianjing once again realized the importance of power. Chapter 777. Wise Uncle Du. Ignorance. _6. Take for instance the coveted membership card to Guosei Tianxiang. It's not something you can simply buy with money, you have to seize the right moment. She had heard of Guosei Tianxiang before and always wanted to go. But there was always a queue, and she hated having to lower herself to wait in a line, so it remained just a thought. Now, someone was actually offering her a membership card and pleading for her to accept it. These days, Zhang Xianjing had been feeling extraordinarily pleased with herself, but gradually, she started to become restless. Because Wang Ziki hadn't visited her for a week. That's not right. Logically speaking, Wang Ziki should have come long ago. Could something have gone wrong? Zhang Xianjing promptly went to Zhang Lingling to discuss her concerns. Mom, what do you think is going on? Zhang Lingling didn't take this matter to heart and laughed, saying, there's nothing to worry about. If Master Du is trying to test you, hanging you out to dry for a month is normal. For now, all you need to do is keep still. Don't be like an ant on a hot pan, then you wouldn't be any different from those vulgar fans. Playing hard to get wasn't only a strategy women used, men of power and influence would use it too. After her speech, Zhang Lingling gave a meaningful reminder. Xianjing, if you want to achieve something big, you have to be patient. The longer you lay low, the greater the rewards. Being reassured by Zhang Lingling like this made Zhang Xianjing feel a lot better. Mom, you're right. I know what to do. Zhang Lingling nodded. Good. There weren't many classes in school these days, so Zhang Xianjing stayed home every day. Those who wanted to curry favor with her were practically trampling over the Zhang household's doorstep. Seeing so many visitors bringing gifts to Zhang Xianjing every day, Mrs. Zhang couldn't help but say, Xianjing, there's an old saying that one shouldn't accept rewards for nothing. Isn't it a bit inappropriate to accept these gifts from other people? Inappropriate? What's inappropriate about it? These weren't things she wanted, but things others were pleading for her to accept. That old hag. She's only being critical because Ni Yang's popularity had been overshadowed by her. She was too much, Zhang Xianjing said with a smile. Grandmother, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to accept their gifts either, but they insist on giving them to me. Furthermore, they haven't asked me to do anything in return. They give me gifts and I also return gifts to them. This is normal among friends. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Zhang felt somewhat relieved. It's fine as long as you're returning gifts. Us Zhangs shouldn't do anything to provoke gossip. And Ai Yang had been very busy recently. She had to study the 13 ghost needle techniques, manage the sound system at the shop, visit the noodle restaurant, milk tea shop, ice skin jade body shop, and Guisei Tianxiang regularly, and also find time to take her school exams. After the exams, Ai Yang and Han Xiaoyu went home together. Han Xiaoyu didn't have a bike, so Ai Yang was able to give her a ride. When they reached their destination, Han Xiaoyu jumped off from the back seat. Yang, there's still time. Why don't you come to my house and hang out? In her previous life, Ai Yang didn't have many close friends. So in this life, she felt especially grateful for any friendships that came her way. She nodded. Sure. Han Xiaoyu comes from an average wage-earning family. Both her parents worked in the factory. Her father, Han Xingli, was the factory manager. Her mother was the workshop director. And the two of them earned a combined monthly salary of 120 yuan. They had 3 children and owned a house in Beijing, living life neither too well off nor too poorly. They were an upper-middle-class family. Mom, this is my classmate Ai Yang. She's our school's campus beauty and the all-rounder I've been telling you about, who jumped grades and even came first in the exams. Just call her Yang. All parents like high-achieving girls. On hearing Han Xiaoyu say this, Han's mother was quick to say, Oh, this is Ai Yang. So the good student looks like this. Come on in and have a seat. Come on in and have a seat. Xiaoyu has told me all about you. You don't mind if I call you Yang, do you? Ai Yang is not only an excellent student but also very attractive. It's hard not to like her. I don't mind. Ai Yang shook her head with a smile. That's what names are for. Just look at the way this girl speaks. Everything about Ai Yang seemed perfect to Han's mom. On the other hand, Xiaoyu could do no right in her eyes. In conclusion, all the good daughters belong to others. Seeing Ai Yang's manners, Han's mother couldn't help but offer her the treasured oranges from home. Yang, have an orange. Don't hesitate to make yourself at home at Auntie's place. I heard from Xiaoyu that you've helped her a lot with her studies. Thank you so much. Ever since she became Ni Yang's classmate, Xiaoyu's grades had significantly improved. The teacher even said it was a sure thing that she would get into a university. Ni Yang chuckled. "Auntie, you don't have to be so formal. It's normal for classmates to help each other." Her words resonated deeply with Han's mother, and she thought to herself how considerate and endearing this girl was. Han's mother hurriedly peeled an orange for Ni Yang. "Yang Yang, eat up and don't be a stranger to Auntie." Ni Yang took the fruit with a word of thanks. "Thank you, Auntie." Han's mother said, "You girls chat. They'll go out and take a walk. Young people have their own topics to chat about." She couldn't contribute to the conversation and would rather go out and have a chat with some friends. It's hard to find a day to rest. Ni Yang nodded. "Take care, Auntie." After Han's mother left, Han Xiaoyu said, "Yang Yang, do you know? My mom is usually very tight-fisted, and this is the first time she's been so generous." When Han's mother took out the oranges, Xiaoyu was shocked. She couldn't believe the woman in front of her was the same person who had argued and fought over a needle. Ni Yang laughed and said, "I think Auntie is quite nice. She's very reasonable." Han Xiaoyu made a merciless comment about her own mother. "She is quite reasonable, but she tends to be stingy and stubborn. You don't know this, but years ago she had a fight with Aunt Wang over a needle. Now the two of them wouldn't speak to each other even when they crossed paths." Just then, footsteps could be heard outside. "Is Aunt Han home? Who is it? My mom is not home. Come on in." Han Xiaoyu called out without looking up. In a short while, the visitor came in from the yard. "Sister Xiaoyu, you're home. Hey Race, the 2 yuan I borrowed from your house last time. I'm returning it to you. Yan Yun." Han Xiaoyu stood up from her chair. "By the way, how's your grandmother? Is she feeling better?" Wu Yenyun nodded. "She's much better after taking the medicine." "That's good," Han Xiaoyu said. "Let me introduce you, Yenyun. This is my classmate and good friend. Ni Yang. Yang Yang, this is Wu Yenyun, one of our neighbors. Just call her Yenyun." Ni Yang walked over with a smile. "Nice to meet you." Chapter 778. Direct confrontation. What is her name? _1 Typically, beautiful people have always had a knack for making lasting impressions. Wu Yenyun couldn't help but feel a sense of familiarity with the pretty young lady standing in front of her. Before she could gather her thoughts, Ni Yang initiated. "Yenyun, do we know each other from somewhere?" Standing slightly shorter than Ni Yang, Wu Yenyun tethered somewhere around 5'4", her body thin, her complexion somewhat yellow from what could be attributed to long periods of malnutrition, which also seemed to have tinged her hair the same shade of yellow. Her features were distinct, her big eyes full of life and animated, almost as though they were capable of speech. In the almost May weather, she was still wearing a quilted cotton jacket, evidently indicative of her family's dire economic situation. Wu Yenyun had not expected such friendly and warm behavior from the young lady. She didn't seem to mind Yanyun's dirty appearance, and suddenly, it hit Yenyun. "You were the one riding the bike on the street that day, right?" Once Yenyun said this, Ni Yang started to remember. Yes, that's right. Did you get injured then?" During that occasion, Wu Yenyun had left in such a rush that Ni Yang hadn't been able to ascertain whether she had been injured or not. Wu Yenyun smiled and replied, "No, I'm all right. Your bike didn't even touch me last time." "That's good to hear." Visibly surprised, Han Xiaoyu questioned, Yang Yang, you and Yenyun know each other?" Ni Yang explained the entire incident to Han Xiaoyu, laughing as she recounted their strange meeting. Han Xiaoyu nodded. "Oh, so that's what happened." Wu Yenyun did have chores to do back home and could not stay for too long. After a brief chat, she prepared to depart. "Xiaoyu, Yang, I should get going." Han Xiaoyu continued. "Oh, by the way, Yenyun, when will you start school?" At her words, Wu Yenyun wore a dispirited look on her face. "My mom just had another baby. I can't leave the house for a while. I have no clue when he'll be able to attend school." Han Xiaoyu chose not to say anything more, but asked her to wait a moment. "Wait here. They'll be back." "All right." Wu Yenyun gave a nod. Han Xiaoyu ran back into the house and returned shortly after with a red plastic bag. Yenu, this is for you. The bag contained a few leftover pancakes from breakfast and 2 oranges. Wu Yenyun declined right away. Xiaoyu, I cannot accept this. You should take it back. Han Xiaoyu insisted. Keep it. We can't finish it all anyway. Don't hesitate. Just take it. You should head back now. Your baby brother might start crying again. Then, thank you Xiaoyu. In those times, no one was wealthy enough. Han Xiaoyu's generosity touched Wu Yenyun deeply. After Wu Yenyun had left, Han Xiaoyu shared Yanyan's domestic conditions with Ni Yang. Wu Yanyan's father was disabled and could only perform some manual labor. Despite her mother's competence, a woman having so many children left her crushed under the burden of life. Wu Yanyan's family was, therefore, in a very bad situation. That's why Wu Yenyun was still wearing a quilted cotton jacket even in mid-May. Regardless of the era, there are always the rich and the poor. Equality of wealth always remains an unfeasible dream. Ni Yang was left sighing after hearing this. On returning home, Wu Yenyun found her 2 brothers playing in the mud and the other one sleeping soundly in his crib. Her 2 brothers, 9 and 7 respectively, were both of school-going age but unable to attend due to their family circumstances. How could Wu Yenyun burden her mother with the need for her own education? Wu Yenyun divided the 3 oranges into 5 parts. For her father, her mother, her 2 brothers, and her grandmother. Big sis, where'd you get these oranges? They are so sweet, delicious. Her elder brother, Wu Dalong, swallowed all his share in one gulp. Her younger brother, Wu Erlong, looked at the 3 pieces of orange in his hand and immediately offered them to Wu Yenyun. Big sis, I don't like sour food. I want to eat it, but you can have it. He wanted to keep the oranges for his older sister because when there were good things, she always thought of them first while going without herself. Wu Yenyun patted Wu Erlong's little head, smiling. You have it. Big sis has already eaten. These oranges aren't sour. They are sweet. Big sis, you should have it. I don't feel like eating them. Wu Erlong showed a reluctant face. Wu Yenyun understood her little brother's sentiment. Eat it soon, or I will give it to Dalong. On hearing that he could have another piece of orange, Wu Dalong's eyes lit up with excitement. Chapter 779. Direct Confrontation, What is her name? _2. Upon hearing that the orange was for Wu Dalong, Wu Erlong immediately retracted his hand. Then, I'll eat it myself. Wu Dalong wasn't happy. Erlong, didn't you say you didn't like it? That was just now I do. Wu Erlong quickly stuffed the orange into his mouth. Wu Yenyun watched the exchange between his 2 younger brothers with amusement before walking towards their grandmother's room. Their grandmother was a product of the feudal society and still had bound feet. As such, she was incapable of heavy labor and mostly stayed at home. Grandma, here is an orange. Wu Yenyun offered the orange to his grandmother. Give it to Dalong and Erlong, I don't really like it, replied his grandmother after a glance. Please try it. Both Dalong and Erlong have already had theirs. Wu Yenyun said. No, take it to your parents. I don't want it. His grandmother shook her head. Elders often tend to keep the best for the younger ones, disregarding their own needs. Mom and Dad also have their share. I'll leave it here for you, said Wu Yenyun, placing the orange on the table. If I say take it away, take it away. Grandma Wu suddenly raised her voice. You stubborn girl. Why do you always argue with me? Having no other choice, Wu Yenyun took back the orange. Your parents work so hard during the day. Let them have a bit more, Grandma Wu advised. All right. Wu Yenyun nodded in agreement. Returning to her room, Wu Yenyun found her youngest brother, Wu Xiaolong, awake. Wu Xiaolong was just 3 months old. At his fussiest time now, he demanded to be carried the moment he awoke. Yen Urge's breast milk didn't flow well. Her children were not plump and fair as one might expect, but rather lean and slightly dark-skinned. While Wu Yenyun was holding her brother in the yard, a plump, middle-aged woman entered. Yenyun is at home. Yes, I am. Wu Yanyun stood up. Landlady Auntie is here. The landlady's surname was also Wu Lan. She was the complete opposite of the Wu family. They were all dark and slender, while she was fair and tubby, looking as if she carried several swim rings around her waist. It's mid-month. Did you prepare the rent? Wu Lan inquired. Wu Yanyun nodded. I'll fetch it right away. The rent was 10 yuan a month. Despite being in financial straits, the Wu family never defaulted on their rent. Wu Lan was a kind person. Knowing the Wu family's condition, she only charged them 10 yuan a month for rent originally worth 12 yuan. Wu Yanyun fetched a 10 yuan note that her mother had prearranged and handed it to Wu Lan. Landlady Auntie, please take this. After accepting the money, Wu Lan glanced into the room. Yanyun, are your parents not at home? Wu Yanyun nodded. Wu Lan sighed. It's tough on you, bearing such burden at such a young age. Which family in Beijing would have a girl this young drop out of school to take care of her siblings? But then again, there was no other choice. Grandma Wu couldn't do manual labor due to her bound feet, and her 3 brothers were still young. Wu Yanyun shook her head. I'm not suffering, Landlady Auntie. Wu Lan smiled. Auntie knows you're capable. Not only was she capable, but she was also pretty. With those big eyes and prominent nose, which other girl in the neighborhood could compete? If she got an education, went to university, she could become a golden phoenix. What a pity though, wrong family. Just then, Grandma Wu came out of the room, leaning on her walking stick. Auntie, it's me. Wu Lan greeted enthusiastically. Grandma Wu approached slowly. Oh, it's Lanzi. Auntie, I was just praising Yanyun. Not only is she pretty, but she's also so sensible. You'll be blessed in the future. A smile didn't cross Grandma Wu's face. We're so impoverished, what use is beauty? It can't be eaten like rice or spent like cash. The rich derive pleasure from beauty. But what use does a poor person have for beauty? Beauty can't save you from hunger. Wu Lan forced a smile. Well, Auntie, I've got other things to do. I won't bother you more. I have to leave now. Go on with your work. Don't let an old ruin like me hold you up, nodded Grandma Wu. After Wu Lan left, Grandma Wu returned to her small room with the help of her walking stick. The thing Grandma Wu did most every day was spacing out in front of the window. Her son and daughter-in-law were struggling so much. She wished she could help, but regretfully there wasn't much she could do about it. After calming down her little brother, it was time for Wu Yanyun to prepare dinner. The rice jar was almost empty. Watered-down rice porridge was the only option. The leftovers from the restaurant a few days ago had long been eaten. Fortunately, there were still pancakes given by Han Xiaoyu, enough to scrape together a meal for the night. Chapter 780. Direct confrontation. What is her name? _3. Wu Yanyun stewed porridge while holding her younger brother. By the time the porridge was ready, Yan Erju and Wu Jinshu had returned home. Yan Erju worked at the rice shop, carrying 150 caddies of rice per bag for 2 cents. 10 bags of rice amounted to 1 cent, and Yan Erju could carry 60 bags a day, earning about 1.2 yuan a day. But not every day of the month had work at the rice shop. On average, only 15 days of the month did, which meant that Yan Erju made about 18 yuan a month. Because of his disabilities, Wu Jinshu could only do odd jobs at the construction site, earning only 0.2 yuan a day. The couple's combined monthly income was 24 yuan. But with 4 children to raise and other necessities, housing, water, and electricity to pay for, they were almost always in debt by the end of the month. Wu Yanyun was a very sensible little girl. Yan Erju and Wu Delong were busy with work, so they didn't have to worry about the house, which Wu Yanyun kept tidy. Wu Yanyun served the food on the table. Mom, Dad, dinner's ready. Dinner was very simple, just porridge and pancakes with a side of pickles. Yan Erju nodded approvingly. Was Xiaolong a good boy today? Wu Yanyun replied. Xiaolong was very good. That's good to hear. Yan Erju loved her eldest daughter very much. If it weren't for her, their family might not pull through. Despite their struggles, life wasn't that terrible. Wu Yenyun brought out some oranges. Mom, Dad, have some oranges. Wu Jinshu was surprised. Xiaoyun, where did you get these oranges from? They could certainly not afford to buy oranges considering their current state. Wu Yenyun explained, oh, never mind that. Dad doesn't like oranges. Dalong, you and Erlong can have these. Dalong happily took the orange. Erju, with hands empty, smiled. I don't like them either, Erlong. You can have it. Wu Erlong shook his head. Sis already gave me one. You should have it, Mom. I don't want it. Wu Erlong still refused. I want it. Wu Dalong, ever the glutton, took the orange from Yen Erju and began to eat it hungrily. Wu Yenyun reprimanded him. You are such a glutton. Dalong made a face at Wu Yenyun. Yen Erju laughed. He's the younger one, Xiaoyun. You should let him have his way. Despite being reasonable, Wu Yenyun still felt upset as she felt Dalong was too unreasonable. Yen Erju, on the other hand, felt it was just normal for kids. Once they've grown up, they would understand. During dinner, Wu Yenyun said, Mom, our landlord came for the rent today. Did you pay it? Yen Erju asked. Wu Yenyun nodded. I did. Then she added, by the way, Mom, we're out of rice at home. Although this topic was a bit heavy, it had to be addressed. Without rice, there would be no meals. Yen Erju took 2 yuan out of her pocket. I just received this as my pay today. Spend it carefully. 2 yuan was a significant amount for the Wu family, but Yen Erju trusted Wu Yenyun. She knew her eldest daughter wouldn't spend money frivolously. Okay. Wu Yenyun nodded. Just as she did, Wu Jinshu finished his meal, and she went to serve him more. Granny Wu, who usually ate 3 bowls of porridge, put down her chopsticks after only 2 bowls. I'm full. I'm going to bed. In those hard times, people ate less. Wu Jinshu was surprised. Mom, why did you eat so little today? I can't eat anymore. Granny Wu replied. It wasn't that she couldn't eat anymore or that she was full. She just wanted to save a bit more. She was old, and if she could save, she would let the children eat more. The kitchen was at the other end of the yard. As she was returning to her room, Granny Wu bumped into Wu Yenyun, who was bringing back rice. Wu Yenyun asked, Granny, have you finished eating? Granny Wu nodded. I'm done. Then, as though Shed just remembered something, she added, we don't have enough food at home. Your dad and mom work hard every day, and Dalong, Erlong, and Xiaolong are all growing children. You and I are the only ones who don't work. Let's eat less. After saying this, Granny Wu turned and walked towards her room. Wu Yenyun was startled. It took her a moment to understand what Granny Wu meant. Chapter 781. Direct confrontation. What is her name? _4. She felt wronged, even on the verge of tears, but she kept them at bay. She's the elder sister. She mustn't cry. Wu Yenyun took a deep breath. After composing herself, she finally stepped into the room. At dinner, her father Wu Jinshu noticed something was amiss. Xiaoyun, why are you eating so little today? Wu Yenyun laughed and replied, I was making pancakes in the afternoon, and my stomach was grumbling. So I ate a couple atop, and now I can't eat any more. Wu Jinshu said, It's been hours since the afternoon. Shouldn't you be hungry by now? Dad, I'm not hungry. Do you think I'm a fool who doesn't know to eat when hungry? Wu Yenyun responded. Then Yen Erju chimed in, Xiaoyun, you must eat. Even though we are poor, we still have money to afford food. Wu Yenyun laughed. Mom, where's your mind wandering off to? Seeing that Shed indeed had enough, her parents said no more about it. After dinner, Wu Yenyun started the dishes and cleaning. Wu Erlong hurried over to help. Sister, let me dry the dishes for you. Wu Yenyun said, Thank you, Erlong. Just then, a voice came from outside the kitchen. Dalong, Erlong, come over here. Grandma is calling me. I'll go first. Wu Erlong put down the dish. Go ahead. Off the brothers went into Grandma's tiny room. "Grandma, what do you need us for?" Wu Dalong asked. Grandma stealthily brought out a greasy package from behind her. "See what this is." On realizing the package contained 3 lard pancakes, Wu Dalong exclaimed excitedly, "Ah, lard." Grandma quickly shushed him. "Why are you yelling? Do you want to bring everyone here?" Wu Dalong nodded. With so many mouths to feed, would there be enough to go around? Wu Dalong nodded again. Grandma doled out a pancake each to Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong. Left one for Wu Jinshu. Given Wu Jinshu's poor health, it would be a good fortifier. These 3 pancakes were sent by Grandma Wu's daughter earlier in the day. She saved them until now, waiting for Jinshu to return so that she could give them to the children. Knowing Dalong's nature, Erlong didn't refuse. He stuffed the pancake into his pocket. "Thank you, Grandma." "Silly child. Why be polite with your grandma? Just remember to hide it from others," Grandma Wu advised. Wu Erlong nodded in reply. At bedtime, once Wu Erlong heard his brother snoring, he stealthily crossed over to the other side. His elder sister was sleeping next door. The 3 siblings actually slept in one room, but Jinshu had segregated the room with a curtain in consideration of their genders. Short on rooms and cash-strapped to rent a larger house, they had to resort to such measures. It was all pushed by life's harsh circumstances. "Elder sister," Wu Erlong gently nudged Wu Yenyun. "What's wrong, Erlong?" Wu Yenyun rubbed her eyes. "Elder sister, I have something for you." Wu Erlong pressed a tantalizing item into Wu Yanyun's palm, which instantly made her mouth water, given she hadn't had her fill at dinner. "A lard pancake? Where did you get it?" Wu Yenyun asked. Wu Erlong answered, "Grandma gave it to me secretly. Please eat it quickly, I've already had one." As he finished, he made a beeline for his own bed. Wu Yanyun's eyes welled up, barely holding back her tears. This lard pancake was, in her memory, the most delicious one she'd ever tasted. Years later, she still remembered this particular night vividly. Her grandmother subtly hinted to her not to eat too much and to save food, while her little brother presented her with a lard pancake. There's no price tag on love. Wu Yenyun had choked down that pancake with tears in her eyes. Anai Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui moved to the Zheng family's house again. Naturally, Anai Yen went with them. The Zheng family had been bustling these days with a constant flow of guests. Whenever Zhang Xianjing passed Anai Yen, she held her head high, extremely proud, even though Anai Yen had no clue what she was so smug about. In the living room, Zhang Lingling made Zhang Xianjing the center of attention, smilingly saying, "Mom and Dad, I heard there's a newly opened restaurant in Beijing that's doing great business. The food is absolutely delicious, and the ambience is excellent as well. The only drawback is the membership card requirement. If you don't have one, you will have to queue with many others. Those with membership cards, however, will be provided with private rooms." Chapter 783. Direct Confrontation. What is her name? _6. Upon hearing this, a mocking expression appeared on Zhang Xianjing and the others' faces. Zhang Xianjing walked over to Anai Yang, intending to teach her a few lessons as the elder sister, to not brag and to be down to earth. Just as she was about to start, 2 other receptionists in traditional Han clothing walked out. "Sorry for the wait, Miss Anai. The new hires didn't know about your identity. Please follow me." "No problem." Anai Yang smiled slightly. This left Zhang Xianjing stunned. Lu Kersen was also stunned. Lu Kersen quickly grabbed one of the receptionists by the sleeve. You're mistaken, right? She can enter without a membership card?" The receptionist smiled and replied, "As Ms. Anai is our esteemed VIP guest, she can indeed enter without a card." Zhang Xianjing clenched her fist. She had hoped to seize this opportunity to show off, but instead, Anai Yang stole the limelight. How infuriating! Since Lu Kersen was paying, and Yang didn't hold back and ordered the most expensive dishes. The total cost of the meal would amount to no less than 7,000 to 8,000 yuan. Seeing the prices on the menu made Lu Kerson wince. If she had anticipated this, she wouldn't have pretended to be generous. While she wasn't short on money, still 8,000 yuan was enough for her to travel abroad 2 to 3 times. The theme of the restaurant, National Beauty, was traditional Chinese, with wall murals depicting scenes from the painting along the river during the Qingming festival, hand-carved lamps, and even redwood handmade chairs. The classical decor stood out as a breath of fresh air in an era that idolizes modern design and Western culture. Old Master Zhang looked around and commented, "The owner is no ordinary person. They have a rich cultural background." Madame Zhang nodded in agreement. "I reckon they must be of considerable age. The younger generation these days are not fond of old-style things. Weddings in ancient times were grand affairs complete with phoenix crowns and red wedding gowns. Now they wore white wedding dresses instead." Madame Zhang, having lived through those days, had a hard time accepting white in a festive celebration such as marriage. The most crucial thing about National Beauty wasn't just the service or the environment but the taste of their dishes, which was simply unparalleled. Whenever someone dines here, they would immediately think of National Beauty whenever they thought about dining out in the future. Halfway through the meal, Yang excused herself to conduct some business with Gulanji, as she considered this a good opportunity to discuss the restaurant's revenue. The third floor was a VIP area and thus was quiet, but the second floor was quite bustling with food carriers and customers. As Yang was descending the stairs, a food carrier crossed paths with her. The food carrier was a tall girl who didn't notice a banana peel on the stairs as her hands were full. She stepped on it, losing her balance, and was about to tumble over. Just then, 2 people, one on each side, reached out and steadied her arm while 2 other hands prevented the tray and food from tipping over. "Be careful," 2 voices echoed out at the same time. One voice was gentle and calm, like an April breeze. The other voice was warm and soothing, reminiscent of the sound emanating from an ancient bronze bell. The girl was visibly scared and quickly said, "Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am," before hurrying off to deliver her dishes. Only then did Yang realize that she and a man dressed in a scholar's robe had saved the food carrier. Unlike modern men, he was dressed in an ancient robe with a pair of simple fabric shoes on his feet. His hair neatly combed back into a ponytail, and a string of Buddha beads in his hand. His fair skin contrasted with the brown beads, his hands well-defined. Strangely, his hands appeared more beautiful than a lattice by threefold. His manner was gentle and courteous, making it hard to guess his actual profession. While she was observing him, he was also observing her. She was beautiful, probably the first impression of most people. His gaze reminded him of a line of poetry. "Only Mudan truly represents the national beauty. When it blooms, it stirs Beijing." "The young lady possesses remarkable agility," said the man. None other than Mr. Du, and Yang gave a faint smile. Likewise, this man's quick reaction indicated that he was well-trained in martial arts. His skill was not in line with his outward appearance and personality. And Yang didn't say much more. She picked up the banana peel from the stairs and continued down. Mr. Du was slightly taken aback. He turned to watch Yang's figure, leaving a furrow in his brows. Her voice seemed familiar. Where did he hear it? A beautiful lady like her would have left a deep impression if they had met before. But he couldn't recall where he had seen her. And Yang found Gulanji downstairs, discussed the business matters, and emphasized on the restaurant's sanitation. Had she and that man not responded promptly, the consequences would have been disastrous, and it would have negatively impacted the customers on the stairway. Upon hearing this, Gulanji felt a chill. If the food carrier had fallen, she, as the manager, would also have to bear the blame. Luckily, it didn't happen. "Sure, Yang, I understood. I'll discuss with the cleaning department to increase their frequency of work to ensure such an accident doesn't repeat." And Yang nodded. "By the way, which private room is the man dressed in scholar's attire a guest of?" And Yang inquired. Gulanji thought for a moment and replied, "I believe he's from private room 9. And Yang instructed. Once you confirm he's from private room 9, take the food carrier girl with you, apologize properly, and waive off his bill. Also, the mishap occurred due to poor sanitation. Don't blame it on the food carrier girl. Understood. Once the discussions were over, Yang left the office and returned to the 3rd floor. Gulanji was an efficient individual. Upon confirming that the guest Yang referred to was from private room 9, she immediately took the food carrier girl with her to apologize. Interestingly, only 2 people occupied the spacious private room 9. One was sitting while the other was standing, possibly a master and his servant. After explaining their purpose of visit, Mr. Du put down his teacup and absent-mindedly fiddled with his Buddha beads. No need for waiving the bill, just answer a question for me. Gulanji bowed slightly. Please ask, sir. Mr. Du raised his eyes slightly, his voice as gentle as ever. What is the name of the young lady with excellent agility? How could this rural bumpkin even compare to our Xianjing? Hearing their flattering voices, Zheng Xianjing felt extremely satisfied. Her lips curled in triumph. After finishing their meal, the group left the restaurant. The old lady cradled little Yun in her arms while Yang walked by Zhang Lao Ye's side. Zhang Lao Ye, who wasn't normally a chatty person, unusually enjoyed having a lively conversation with Yang. Yang, I know a place that sells delicious candied hawthorns. Do you and Yun want some? The mention of candied hawthorns excited little Yun. Yes, I want. Zhang Lao Ye laughed. All right, I will buy some for you. Zhang Lao Tai said. Children should not eat too many sweets. It's bad for their teeth. Zhang Lao Ye retorted. Why are you always picking on things? What harm can occasionally eating a string of them do? Did you lose your teeth because you ate sugar as a child? The half-toothless Zhang Lao Tai. I'm speechless. Little Yun happily said. Thank you, Grandpa. You're the best. Grandpa, carry me. Zhang Lao Ye took little Yun into his arms, setting her on his shoulder. Grandpa will take Yun and sister to buy candied hawthorns. Little Yun was thrilled. Riding the horse? Giddy up. Yang laughed. I would prefer not to have the candied hawthorns. I have to attend to some business in a bit. You can take Yun. Zhang Lao Ye replied. Then, I'll buy some for you and you can eat it when you come home later. Seeing this, Zhang Lingling and her mother both had unsatisfied expressions on their faces. So, Yang and Yun are human, and Zheng Xianjing is not? They bought candied hawthorns for Yang and Yun, completely forgetting about Zheng Xianjing. Favoritism. Such blatant favoritism. They're being so blatantly partial that it's beyond infuriating. Chapter 785. Please give me another chance. _2. Moreover, when Zhang Xianjing was a child, old Master Zhang wouldn't even smile at her, let alone pamper her. Truly, one's own child always comes first. 2 old codgers. Zhang Lingling wished she could strangle old Master Zhang and the old lady. Master Zhang, holding little Yun, said, Ting, De Hui, you guys can go wherever you want, and your mom and I will take Yun to play. Lingling and Xianjing, if you want to go out, feel free to wander around. Otherwise, go home. Cuihua and Shangguan De Hui were newlyweds, so they should have some private time together. Shangguan De Hui simply adored his father-in-law. Dad, then I'll take Daya and leave first. Please take care of Yun. Zhang Lingling felt suffocated inside, but managed to force a smile on her face. Sure, Dad. Yang also said, Then I'll go ahead, Grandpa. Go on. Master Zheng waved his hand. 3rd floor of the National Fragrance. Mr. Du and Wang Ziki stood at the floor-to-ceiling window on the 3rd floor. Is that Zhang Xianjing? Wang Ziki nodded. Yes, it's her. Mr. Du pointed to the slim figure next to Master Zheng. Who is that? Wang Ziki squinted. I don't know that person, but the Zheng family recently found their biological daughter. I think that should be the daughter brought back by their biological daughter. Because Wang Ziki had been investigating Zhang Xianjing lately, he knew quite a bit about the Zheng family. Mr. Du twirled his Buddha beads, his face expressionless. Investigate her. Investigate Master Zheng's biological granddaughter? Why would he want to investigate Master Zheng's granddaughter? Is he interested in her? Wang Ziki was stunned for a moment, then said, "All right." When his words were done, Mr. Du continued, "How is the investigation on that case from last time going?" "There's no news yet." Wang Ziki replied, "Beijing is not like Shanghai. Shanghai is full of their informers. Finding someone in Beijing is like looking for a needle in a haystack. The most important thing is they hardly have any leads. At least when they were looking for Zhang Xianjing, they knew the car model. It's so difficult." Meanwhile, Shangguan Dehui took an Ai Tsuehua to stroll around and watch a movie. It was rare for them to have these moments alone together. The streets of Beijing in 1985 were not as closed off as before, with couples hand in hand everywhere. Shangguan Dehui held an Ai Kuihua's hand. "Look, there's a cotton candy stall over there. Let's go buy a couple." And Ai Tsuehua laughed. "We're not kids anymore. Why would we want cotton candy? This cotton candy is just like cotton, fluffy, and it dissolves as soon as you put it in your mouth. I'm sure you've never had it before. Besides, who made the rule that only children can eat candy? Adults can't." Chapter 786. Please give me another chance. _3. If he hadn't wronged Shangguan Furong then, he could have been as happy as Shangguan Dehui and Ai Tsuehua now. He had destroyed his own happiness with his own hands. Zhao Xin took a deep sigh, then mustered the courage to walk up to Shangguan Dehui and Ai Tsuehua. "Brother, sister-in-law." Shangguan Dehui looked up and his brows furrowed slightly. "Call me Mr. Shangguan. I'm not your brother now." Shangguan Dehui's attitude was somewhat off, so Ai Tsuehua gently tugged at his sleeve. Despite the bitter smile on his face, Zhao Xin replied, "Regardless, you are still the uncle of my 2 children." Shangguan Dehui didn't respond. Zhao Xin continued, "Brother, I have thoroughly reflected on my actions recently and realized my mistakes." Shangguan Dehui didn't speak, and Ai Tsuehua tried to smooth things over with a smile. "It's a good thing when a prodigal son returns to the fold." "Thank you, sister-in-law." Zhao Xin continued, "Brother, sister-in-law, I really know that I was wrong. Please give me another chance to take care of Furong and the children." He was really fond of Shangguan Furong. They were each other's first loves. Besides Shangguan Furong, he couldn't marry anyone else. Moreover, he couldn't bear to leave his 2 children. And Ai Tsuehua could not respond to these words, and chose to remain silent. Shangguan Dehui snorted coldly. "Because of you, I nearly lost a sister and 2 nephews. Do you think you'll ever entrust them to someone like you again?" The incident of jumping off a building had always been a sore spot for Shangguan Dehui. No matter what, Shangguan Furong was his only sister. "Brother, I genuinely know I was wrong. I swear, I will treat Furong and the 2 children well in the future." Zhao Xin raised 3 fingers and continued, "Bro, I'm begging you." At the end, Zhao Xin even knelt in front of Shangguan Dehui. Seeing this, the people on the street couldn't help but turn their curious gazes towards them. Shangguan Dehui helped Zhao Xin up. "A man's knees are as precious as gold. Get up." Looking at Shangguan Dehui again, Zhao Xin's face was streaked with tears. He choked out, "Brother, Furong can't be without a husband, and the 2 children can't be without a father. I'm begging you, I'll definitely cherish this hard-earned opportunity." A man doesn't easily shed tears, but when he does, it evokes sympathy. The sight of Zhao Xin would soften anyone's heart. Shangguan Dehui sighed and replied, "I can't decide for Furong. You should talk to her yourself. As long as she's willing to forgive you, I won't object." Zhao Xin wiped his face with his sleeve, gratefully replying, "Thank you, brother. Thank you, sister-in-law." Shangguan Dehui raised his hand. "Don't thank me so quickly. Whether Furong will forgive you remains to be seen." Regardless of her decision, I will respect Furong's choice. Zhao Shen nodded. Okay, brother, I understand. You and sister-in-law have fun together. I'll be leaving first. With that, Zhao Shen turned and left. Watching Zhao Shen's retreating figure, Shangguan Dehui grasped Ai Kuihua's hand. Dia, what do you think about this? About the matter between Furong and Zhao Shen? Ai Tsuehua asked. Yes. Shangguan Dehui nodded. Ai Tsuehua took a bite of her cotton candy and replied. From the children's perspective, Zhao Shen can be forgiven. After all, a child's growth can't be without a father. But from a moral standpoint, Zhao Shen's actions are absolutely unforgivable. Just like you, I will respect whatever Furong decides. Ai Tsuehua had been through a failed marriage. She knew the difficulties women faced, whether Zhao Shen had truly repented or not. He had already left an unbridgeable scar on Shangguan Furong's heart. What's done can't be undone. A broken mirror can't be joined again. Shangguan Dehui nodded. So we are of the same opinion. Then he said, forget about this for now, Comrade Dia. Shall we go see a movie together? I heard from a colleague that a movie called Mr. Zombie just came out. Let's go see it. Mr. Zombie 1 starring Mr. Lam was released in 1985 and was quite popular at the box office in mainland China. Ai Tsuehua replied, Zombies? Is it a horror movie? At this time, zombies only existed in books. Ai Tsuehua, who had read books on the topic, was quite interested and curious to see what a movie about zombies would look like. Shangguan Dehui said, probably, we'll know when we see it. Chapter 787. Please give me another chance. _4. Mr. Zombie 1 is a film that intertwines horror with comedy and injects a subtle touch of sorrow into the playfulness. While everyone else in the theater was terrified, Ai Tsuehua remained incredibly calm. On the other hand, Shangguan Dehui was far from relaxed, beads of cold sweat covering the palms of his hands. Normally, he was quite brave, but the sight of the ghost bride sitting on Qian Ziaheo's bicycle and the haunting tune accompanying her appearance turned Shangguan Dehui's face pale. He clenched Ai Kuihua's hand tightly. Ai Tsuehua chuckled. What's there to be afraid of? It's all fake. Shangguan Dehui. After leaving, Zhao Shen went to a flower shop and bought a bouquet of fiery red roses. Had heard that young people in love these days are into this sort of thing. He wasn't sure whether Shangguan Furong would like it or not. Elsewhere, Master Zhang and Madame Zhang were buying candied hawthorns with little Ai Yun. Perched atop Master Zhang's shoulders, the laughter in little Ai Yun's eyes was infectious. I want 2 sticks. All right, we'll get 2 for little Yunun. Master Zhang smiled. Shopkeeper, give me 4 candied hawthorns. Quickly, the candied hawthorn shopkeeper handed 4 sticks of candied hawthorn to little Ai Yun. Here you go, young lady. Little Ai Yun said gratefully, Thank you, shopkeeper. The shopkeeper was pleasantly surprised. Such a polite little girl. Little Ai Yun responded. And you're polite too, shopkeeper. The candied hawthorn shopkeeper was beaming with delight. This little girl is good at making logical inferences. Master Zhang and Madame Zhang also couldn't help but laugh out loud. Madame Zhang asked, Yun, who are these 4 candied hawthorns for? Little Ai Yun replied, 2 are for myself. 1 is for sister and 1 is for sister Xianjing. Although little Ai Yun may be young, she has big thoughts. Madame Zhang then asked, Why aren't there any for grandpa and grandma? Little Ai Yun reasoned. Because grandpa and grandma are adults, and adults can't eat candy. In her mind, even Ai Yang and Zhang Xianjing were still little kids. Master Zhang feigned disappointment. What should we do if grandpa and grandma still want some? After pondering for a bit, little Ai Yun finally decided to share her own. She took out one of her candied hawthorns. This stick is for you and grandma. Yun will just have 1. Grandpa, you and grandma can only have 1 stick. If you eat too much, your teeth will hurt. Madame Zhang pinched little Ai Yun's hand while standing on her tiptoes. You little smart aleck. Grandpa was just teasing you. Grandpa and grandma don't eat candy. You eat it. Finding out that she was still entitled to 2 candied hawthorns, little Ni Yun was over the moon. Chapter 788. Please give me another chance. _5. For some reason, upon seeing Wu Yenyun, Ni Yang felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Yenyun. Ni Yang walked over, squatting down beside Wu Yenyun, and patted her shoulder. After patting Wu Yenyun without any response, Ni Yang patted her again. Yenyun. Only then did Wu Yenyun react. She lifted her head and saw a clean and pretty face, choked back a sob. Ni Yang. Ni Yang handed her a clean handkerchief. Yenyun. Wipe your tears first. Wu Yenyun raised her hand, wiping her face indiscriminately with her sleeves. Don't get your handkerchief dirty. It was evident that Ni Yang belonged in a different world from hers. You could tell that Ni Yang must have a good family environment. Unlike her, Ni Yang stuffed the handkerchief into Wu Yenyun's hands with a smile. It's okay. Handkerchiefs are meant for wiping stains. What else would they be for? Thank you. Wu Yenyun gripped the handkerchief, warmth spreading in her heart. Ni Yang then helped Wu Yenyun up from the ground. Yenyun, what's the matter? No, nothing. Wu Yenyun used the handkerchief to wipe away her tears. Just by the agricultural market there was a dumpling soup shop. Considering it was past 12 p.m., Wu Yenyun probably hadn't eaten yet. So Ni Yang took her to the shop saying, let's eat and chat inside. But where would Wu Yenyun get the money to eat? No need, Yang. I've already eaten. Ni Yang chuckled. That's okay. I haven't eaten yet anyway. Just think of it as keeping me company during my meal. Upon hearing that, Wu Yenyun had no choice but to follow Ni Yang into the dumpling soup shop. There weren't many customers in the shop. Seeing the new customers, the boss lady greeted them enthusiastically. What can I get for the 2 of you? Ni Yang looked at the menu and ordered 2 large bowls of dumpling soup, then 2 pan-fried dumplings, and add an egg to each soup. At this time, when one's stomach is low on oil, people generally do eat more. Ni Yang didn't have a big appetite, and she was concerned Wu Yenyun wouldn't be filled up. If she ordered different dishes, she was afraid Wu Yenyun would misunderstand. Wu Yenyun responded, Yang, just order what you want. I have really already eaten. Ni Yang gave a small smile. We are friends now. I'm just treating you to a meal. What does it matter? Are you going to just sit there and watch me eat? Boss lady, could you please serve the food now? The boss lady wiped her hands on her apron, smiling brightly. All right, you two just wait for a while. A short while later, the dumpling soup was served. Ni Yang tasted a spoonful first. Yenyun, eat quickly. Dumpling soup is best eaten hot. Okay. Wu Yenyun nodded. Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong came bounding out of the courtyard. Big sister is home. Big sister, what are you carrying? It smells so good. Wu Yenyun smiled and said, of course, it's something good. Wait a moment. They'll divide it up in the kitchen. Wu Dalong was jumping with joy. Wu Yenyun kept the other 5 portions of dumpling soup for dinner and took out Ni Yang's portion separately, dividing it into 3. Ni Yang had just symbolically eaten a mouthful of her portion. Since it was a larger portion, it could be divided into 3 bowls. She gave 1 egg to Granny Wu, and 1 potsticker each to Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong. Upon seeing that the food was divided into 3 portions, Wu Erlong asked, Big sister, aren't you eating? Wu Yenyun smiled and said, Big sister has already eaten. Before Wu Erlong could respond, Wu Dalong eagerly said, Xiaolong, if you're not eating, I'll eat your portion for you. Wu Erlong immediately guarded his meal. Wu Yenyun took the remaining portion to their grandmother. Their grandmother scolded with a stern face. We're already so poor we can't afford food. Your mom gave you 2 yuan just yesterday, and you've wasted it today. Don't we know our place? You extravagant child. What a disgrace. What could our respectable Wu family have done to deserve a child like you? If only we knew back then. In the end, the grandmother started coughing in agitation, looking like she might collapse at any second. Wu Yangyun immediately tried to pacify her. Grandma, don't be angry. I didn't use the money Mom gave me for this. A kind-hearted lady gave me several portions of these. I planned to save them for dinner. Look, the money Mom gave me is still here. She couldn't dare tell her grandmother about losing the money. She decided to confide it to her parents quietly at night. Seeing this, their grandmother's expression softened slightly. After enjoying the forbidden dumpling soup, she continued, Xiaoyun, how old are you now? I'm 18, Wu Yangyun replied, puzzled. Why would her grandmother suddenly ask her age? 18? Their grandmother looked at her with complicated eyes. 18 is not young anymore. She herself had been married at 18. The young mistress had been promised to a family at 16. Grandma, are you asking for a reason? Wu Yangyun continued to inquire. Their grandmother shook her head. No, you can go now. Just as Wu Yangyun was about to leave, it seemed their grandmother remembered something. Both of your younger brothers should be in school, but they are still at home playing. If it weren't for you, your brothers would be in school by now. Xiaoyun, do you know how much it costs to raise a child? Wu Yangyun's voice was a little bitter. I know, their grandmother said. If you are sensible, you should help your parents more. You are 18, no longer a child. Our family is in this mess because of you. Wu Yangyun nodded in agreement. Chapter 790. So unique. Found the real lifesaver. _1 The person who arrived was none other than Du's half-sister from the same father, Du Jiaojiao. Du Jiaojiao was 36 years old this year, but she looked no different from a woman in her early 20s. She was wearing a fashionable lace dress, her hair was curled in golden waves, and she had on a pair of light black high heels. As she walked, each step clicked on the floor, emanating an aura of authority. Upon hearing this, Du Jiaojiao asked seriously, A savior? What happened? Du narrated the incident from that night in a calm and composed manner, his casual demeanor as if the person who almost died that night wasn't him. People like Du had long understood the cycle of life and death. To him, life and death were no more than a cycle. Du Jiaojiao squinted her eyes in anger and said, These people are absolutely reckless. No sooner had you left Shanghai than they set their sights on Beijing. Du twiddled with his Buddha beads. No point getting angry. It's not good for your health. Du Jiaojiao was so angry that she started to laugh. Who do you think I'm doing this for? It's all for you. Although he wasn't her full brother, their bond was much deeper than that of ordinary siblings. Du Jiaojiao then asked, Have you found out who's behind this? Du nodded his head. Du Jiaojiao jumped in. Who is it? I'll kill him myself. Du replied, There's no need for you to act, sister. I've already taken care of it. Du Jiaojiao laughed. I always knew you were a smiling tiger, pretending not to care on the surface but holding grudges deep down. Given her brother's tumultuous past, his journey to the present has been far from easy. Along the way, a lot of blood had been shed. He truly stepped on bones to get where he is. With one hand on his Buddha beads and the other tossing some fish bait, he said, I'm no saint. If someone crosses my line, I'll naturally pay them back. Du Jiaojiao added, So the young girl who saved you is quite formidable. Haven't you found her yet? Anyone who could save her brother must be extraordinarily skilled. At the moment, Du Jiaojiao was also curious about what this little girl looked like. Du shook his head. It was already dark at that time and the clues were too scarce. Du Jiaojiao chuckled. No rush. As long as destiny dictates, you two shall meet again. Du did not continue the conversation. Du Jiaojiao nudged him with her elbow and giggled. By the way, do you have some good news to share? What good news? Du was puzzled. Du Jiaojiao laughed. Don't play dumb. I heard back in Shanghai that you've set your sights on a young girl and are thinking about bringing her home as your wife? No, Du straightforwardly denied. Du Jiao was speechless. You're still pretending in front of your sister? Really, there isn't. Du Jiao frowned. Tell me honestly, all these years, haven't you had feelings for anyone? Her brother was already in his 30s this year. He was often surrounded by women and even had 2 mistresses. But he had never truly opened his heart to anyone. He was like an emotionless machine, cold and indifferent. Du lightly shook his head. Throughout my life, I have never understood what it is to like. Du Jiao then asked, what about love? Even if you've never liked anyone, you must have loved someone, right? Du cracked a smile. Love? What is love? Is it something that can satisfy hunger or thirst? Besides, is there really such a thing as love in this world? He never believed in love between a man and a woman. He never loved anyone. He even found it puzzling why some people could make a huge fuss over so-called love. In Du's view, this was incredibly foolish behavior. Du Jiao shook her head in disbelief. Being with someone like you who doesn't understand love is so boring. Du fiddled with his Buddha beads. Buddha said, life is what we make of it. All things in the world are transient. If the mind is not moved, nothing in the world is moved. If the mind doesn't change, everything remains the same. And his mind would never be moved for anyone. Du Jiao gave a snort. There's a long road of life ahead. I don't believe you won't fall for any girl in the future. Being human, no one could escape the 2 words, passionate love. Du laughed softly. If I could fall for someone, would I still be waiting till now? Over these years, he had encountered countless admirable women. Du Jiao gave him a glance, but couldn't refute his words. Chapter 791. So unique. Found the real lifesaver. _2. Her younger brother, who was well-traveled and handsome, attracted numerous women who wouldn't consider marrying anyone else. Even the daughter of the leader of the desert country, whom he did not bother to give much attention to. He even avoided accepting 2 concubines. Du Jiao continued, little brother, I think you should reduce your reading of those Buddhist scriptures. At this rate, you might as well become a monk. Master Du sighed. Master Wuxia said my 6 senses are impure, so he refused to take me as his disciple. You actually want to become a monk? Have you gone mad? Du Jiao widened her eyes in disbelief, her voice several decibels higher. Master Du smiled, seeming rather amused by the whole scene. Du Jiao continued, our mother only has you as her son. You can't give up on life so easily. The mother, in her words, was Master Du's biological mother. Their father was a notorious womanizer, his legacy littered with the hearts of countless women. Master Du switched his Buddha beads to the other hand. You're overthinking things, second sister. If Master Wuxia didn't accept him as a student, there was still plenty for him to do in mundane life. He had no plans to become a monk anytime soon. Du Jiao noticed the Buddha beads in Master Du's hand and asked, You've been using these Buddha beads for so many years. What are they made of? They're of such good quality. Xiaoye red sandalwood. Master Du replied. Du Jiao extended her hand. Let me have a look. No. Master Du refused. Why? Du Jiao asked. Why couldn't she see the simple strand of Buddha beads? Master Du continued. These Buddha beads have gained spiritual energy over the years. Except for me, no one else has ever touched them. If you like them, second sister, I can have our people bring you a few more strands to choose from. However, this one is off limits. Du Jiao asked. I can't even look at them? No. Master Du replied. In actuality, Master Du was overly territorial about his belongings. He didn't even allow others a lingering glance. Not even his mother. TCH so stingy. Du Jiao huffed. I don't want to see it then. Master Du continued. You must be hungry from your long journey, second sister. I know a great restaurant. Would you like to go? Upon hearing about food, Du Jiao's spirits quickly lifted. Sure. The two of them made their way to Gustianxiang. Over the years, Du Jiaojiao had visited more than a dozen countries and seen countless restaurants. But it was the first time she had come across one like Gustianxiang. More than a restaurant, it was like an art gallery. Awe-inspiring. Du Jiaojiao exclaimed, "Goodness! I can't believe there's a restaurant like this in Beijing." Master Du said, "My reaction was exactly the same when I first came here." Du Jiaojiao continued, "Who's the owner of this place?" Master Du shook his head. He too was curious about the owner of the shop, but their privacy was well guarded, so he couldn't find out. Laughing, Du Jiaojiao said, "How mysterious." As they entered a private room, Du Jiaojiao couldn't help but exclaim again. She pulled a waitress aside and asked, "Young girl, the garment you're wearing is really beautiful. Is this a vintage piece? Where did you get it?" All the waitresses at Gustianxiang underwent professional training. "Dear customer, the dress I'm wearing is called Chiru, a traditional Han costume. It's custom-made from a factory by our boss." Upon hearing this, Du Jiaojiao's curiosity about the owner of Gustianxiang piqued even more. "Young girl, who's your boss?" The waitress shook her head. "I'm not really sure. I've never seen our boss." So, the owner of Gustianxiang wasn't a simple character. Du Jiaojiao asked, "If you've never seen your boss, then who's responsible for running the restaurant now?" The waitress replied, "Currently, our restaurant is being managed by the manager." Du Jiaojiao nodded. "Okay, bring me the menu." The waitress handed Du Jiaojiao the menu. Du Jiaojiao looked up at Master Du. "Little brother, what would you like to eat?" Master Du glanced at Du Jiaojiao. "I'm vegetarian." Du Jiaojiao shook her head in disbelief. "You recite scriptures, wear Buddha beads, and eat vegan. Anybody who didn't know better would think you're a monk. You're just so boring. You'll have this grand spread, this gold-plated bounty, and this." In one breath, Du Jiaojiao ordered a long list of dishes, considerately adding 3 vegetarian dishes for Master Du. "Would you like anything to drink?" the waitress asked. Du Jiaojiao thought for a moment, then said, "Oh, my skin has been in terrible condition lately. It's so dry and uncomfortable. Let's have a lemon water." Chapter 792. So unique. Found the real lifesaver. _3. In reality, women of this era seldom knew the hydrating effects of lemon water, but Du Jiaojiao was different. She was a modern lady, educated in the West, and knew quite a few things. "All right," the waiter nodded. Then, Du Jiaojiao turned to Du Yi. "What do you want to drink?" "Westlake Longjing tea will do." Du Yi's tone was indifferent. Du Yi never bothered with miscellaneous things. He rarely drank even plain water. The only beverage he drank was tea. Boring. When the dishes were served, Du Jiaojiao was again filled with surprise. Oh my God! This had to be the tastiest restaurant she had ever tried. Even a glass of lemon water was so refreshing, so unique. And Ai Yang stayed at her master's house for the entire afternoon and only returned home around 7 p.m. Today was Saturday, and as usual, Ai Yang had to visit the Shangguan family. Saturday and Sunday were the days she usually spent with the old lady Shangguan. At the trash bin by the entrance, Ai Yang found a large bouquet of bright red roses, perhaps total to 99 roses. This must have been given to Shangguan Furong by some admirer. Even though Shangguan Furong was over 30, she kept herself extremely well preserved. She was already beautiful to begin with, so she was never short of suitors. Sister Ai Yang. As soon as Ai Yang stepped into the house, Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing, the two sisters, came rushing out. Shangguan Furong wasn't always at the Shangguan family. She only came back on weekends. She spent Saturdays at the Shangguan family, and on Sundays she would take the children to the Zhao family to visit the old lady Zhao. Even though she was divorced, old lady Zhao was still the grandmother of the two children. Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing really liked their cousin, Ai Yang. Zijuan, Ziqing, Ai Yang took out the candies she had prepared from her bag. The candies were shaped like little pigs, extremely cute, almost making one reluctant to eat them. "Thank you, Sister and Yang," Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing said, politely thanking her. And Yang patted their little heads. "Go and play. Let's go find Sister and play." The two ran inside. "Yan Yan is back." Shangguan Shi came out from inside. "Sister Xiaoxi." And Yang stretched out her hand and hugged Shangguan Shi. Shangguan Shi and Shangguan Su also came back once a week, usually living in their own home. "Yan Yan, we're having dumplings tonight. What filling do you want?" Shangguan Furong walked out of the kitchen wearing an apron and looked at Yang with a smile. Shangguan Furong had changed a lot. The old her would never have done any housework, but now she even made dumplings. Her long hair had been cut short to ear length, making her look very energetic. It was like she had turned into a new person,